political, relationships, religion, whatever. Like there's nothing on this planet with few exception, that is 100% good or 100% bad. We're all debating the 50 shades of gray in between. And the problem that I find that we're coming into now is, and this is what I said off the record, but I want to bring it on the record, I don't necessarily think that the majority of the people that you meet in this world are bad people. If you give them propensity to do bad things, I think the majority of people won't do them. However, I don't necessarily think that that's everybody. I think there is a minority of people that are reprehensible, that are bad, that do need to be separated from society. But we have to do a careful job as a people, like humanity, not to cast that net too wide. Because if you, what was it, the quote that's like, if you, if one honest or if one non-guilty man is served a verdict, then the justice system fails. I do believe in that. If one person goes in and gets convicted of murder who didn't commit it, then the justice system has failed unilaterally. That's how I feel about humanity. Is like,
Rest
I
in
do
peace,
believe
Marcellus Williams.
or I mean, not just him. But think about it. We can talk about how the justice system today is not necessarily. If justice is supposed to be blind, it seems like there's a lot of vision on her, especially today. But let's take a step back. I just wanted to say thank you for that conversation beforehand because it's a constant reminder of why I do this shit. I love this shit, brother. I love this
Real
shit.
discourse, baby.
Yeah.
Real talk. Easy talk.
We brought you on before, and that was the first time that you and I met. This is the second time that we've had you on the podcast, so I want to say thank you for being a repeat guest. Congratulations on your last win, because it was very visceral, very viral, very some would say you went in there and broke a leg, but an arm. Can we take a step back? Can you kind of illustrate how it was that fight kind of came up? Because you were brought into, this was an out-of-town promotion that they were bringing you in to, I'm guessing, fight the local guy, right? And I kind of asked you this off the record, but I want to ask you this on the record too. It's a known unknown. It's unknown to the people that aren't initiated, but within the MMA community or combat sports in general, they know that if anyone is bringing you out, they're usually doing so to lose to the local ticket seller, local prospect, what have you. So obviously for this promotion to kind of bring you in, I'm assuming at the very least, they didn't care who won. At the very worst, they wanted their boy to win, right? To win. Can you talk to me about traveling and fighting for other promotions outside of St. Louis and how that feels compared to fighting in St. Louis?
Well, brother, I would love to elaborate on the entire situation, actually. First of all, glory be to God on the whole entire event. Second of all, still praying for a speedy recovery for Mr. Tsenge. Never like to see anybody in competition get injured that bad.
Did it break at the joint or at the bone?
It tore his snapped his humerus.
Oh, Jesus.
And tore his bicep, I heard. So
it's a lot of force to generate from the bottom, brother. Congratulations.
Thank you, man. Again, shout out to Jeremy, man, for the strength training. He says we don't do strength and conditioning, so I just called him a body coach today. Cause I was like, yeah, it's Vita. Well, you make me stronger and my conditioning's better. So, but again, I ain't gonna argue with Jeremy. Anyway,
traveling and fighting for other promotions.
The traveling and fighting for other promotions, man. I had expected a little bit of trial, and I welcome it. You know what I mean? I actually encourage people in their day-to-day to embrace the suck of things. I don't know if I've ever said that before. I saw that in Jarhead. They were like, embrace the suck. And I finally get it now that I'm older. It's like, things are not going to go your way, and things are not as easy as you think they're going to be. I'm thinking, all right, I'm a fighter. I should be able to get flown out here and have this handled and this handled. And I think the first experience that I had, again, Fury FC is a great organization. This is not a knock on them. This is just the game. You know what I mean? This is the fight game.
Everybody does it. Shamrock, NFA. If
NFA,
you get driven out, if you get flown out, they're not flying you or driving you out to beat the local guy. I hate to say it that way. Yeah. That's why I'm bringing up these questions, because I don't want to say it's a hostile environment. I'm sure they treated you very respectfully. I'm sure they paid for your travel, lodged you accordingly, X, Y, and Z. However, They are bringing you in for a reason.
They did treat me very respectfully, and I actually have a great story to share with you.
Sure.
It's actually quite funny. I'm hoping and praying that they they still want me back, because me and Eric Garcia have now had 2 interesting instances together, which absolutely do not portray the character of who I am as an individual or my family. We love you, Eric.
Just wanted to take a second to pause the action and just tell you guys thank you so much for consuming our content. Easy Talk is a passion project. This podcast is just a bunch of like-minded people coming together to produce some cool stuff and talk to some cool people. One of the things I would very much appreciate is if you could possibly like the video or subscribe to the channel, just because it helps us in the algorithm and ultimately to grow, to get more exposure to everybody, including ourselves, and ultimately just make a better product. Take a second, I'd greatly appreciate it, and on with the show.
So we'll get into that later. But as far as like travel wise, what I meant by that being like a trial is you got to get, well, let me back up. Sorry. Before we get to travel, you have to touch on, again, you said you want to know how the fight came about.
Yeah.
That's going to help with the travel. So the fight actually came to me like 2 and maybe like 3 days, 2.5. So we'll say 2.5 weeks before the actual event. They offered it to me, and they actually,
Did they contact you personally or contact like the gym?
They contacted me personally.
Gotcha.
And after that first loss in my the first fight on the 4-fight contract for Fury, after the first loss to my boy AJ Hoskins, who is now like my Super Saiyan brother and rival, me and him have taken a
friendly rivalry.
We got a Frazier Ali type picture together of us celebrating at the end of the wins. It was awesome. AJ's a cool dude, man, and honestly, you never want to be okay with losing. I never want to say that because people think that gives you the wrong mindset. But if you're gonna lose to somebody that you can honestly say he probably outworked you. AJ probably had outworked me. I mean, the guy's got a 35 beats per minute resting heart rate, 82-inch arm reach. He used to be an Oregon linebacker. He could jump out a pool of water. You know what I mean? There's no shame in his game. You know what I mean?
Well, wins and losses age. So, like, if you beat a bunch of nobodies, they're going to age poorly.
Yeah.
And if you beat a bunch of killers, that'll age well. And if you lose to a bunch of nobodies, that's going to age poorly.
The guy had bilateral knee surgery right after our fight, which was a 6-month between gap, and then came back in and controlled the guy the entire fight. Okay.
Do you talk to them? Do you talk
on
to
both knees?
Do you talk to some of the people that you fought regularly? Like, is that like a regular thing you do?
Bro, I love anime, okay? And that's a random statement, but I'm just going to... People who watch anime get it, bro. If you are about this fight game, in my opinion, because, again, I don't speak for everybody. I'm not going to sit here and say I speak for the entire MMA community and everybody. Yeah. I just think that for the anime heads, brother, this is a beautiful experience that we're sharing together, man. Like, this is my dance partner. That's why I'm praying for dude's arm. At the same time, I'm going to celebrate my victory over him, not saying any trash about him, talking trash about his training, talking trash about his coaches, talking trash about his corner, talking trash about his technique. I'm celebrating the work that I've put into this, because I can honestly say that I put a lot of work into this. And I respect my opponents because I see the work that they put into it. That's why I like AJ and his entire team, actually. They all like me. My boy Derek over there, Jacob Hernandez. They asked me to, what you call it? Shout out Zen Martial Arts down there, man, because they said that I can come train with them and everything. Valentina Shevchenko, she trains out of their gym and stuff sometimes. My boy Derek, he gives her massages and stuff and, like, rehabs her.
Dude, it's a small world.
It's a small
I'm telling
world,
you, it's
but
a small
it's a great world, brother. And that's why I kind of don't like the situation going on in St. Louis with all the beef between the gyms, just because they don't do that anywhere else. They're all training together, and then you know what? Oh, we might have to fight next week. I'll see you in a month, brother.
I think 2 things. One, it's tough to say that because we don't live. The problem with like the proximity bias is we don't live other places, so we actually don't know how it is. Does that make sense? And the grass is not always greener on the other side. Now, on the flip side of that, can relations be better? The answer to that question is always yes.
Always yes.
You know what I mean? If they're great, they could be best. If they're best, they could be godlike, whatever. There's always like a level we can achieve, or that's the way I think anyway. However, I will also say, Tivon, because by no means am I like I'm not your senior in any way, right? Not
You
age,
are.
no, not age and anything. But like I remember when I first came up in the game, I will say that the community was much more divided. And do I think that we've made progress?
For
yes.
sure.
Is there progress to be made? Also, yes. And the thing is, sometimes we kind of lump up the umbrella of individuals. So like there are sometimes individuals that cause schisms that we then roll up to like if someone at the Wolves Den does something, you'll say Wolves Den did this. No, 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 no. This individual did this. You feel me? And if someone at ESMMA did something, you'll be like ESMMA.
Shout out Eric.
Yeah, but yeah, exactly, Eric Steenberg. Yeah, but
My boy.
I guess what I'm trying to say
Coach.
is like it's easy for humans to roll that up because it's easier for our brains to kind of conceptualize. And honestly, it's lazy thinking. It's just a lot easier to say they did this because that umbrellas a lot of people, so I don't have to think as hard. It's tougher to be like the nuance of this situation indicates this individual, and then I have to go into that individual, and then I have to go into the circumstance and the context. That's fucking hard, and people are lazy. That's why ignorance is bliss, and intelligence is it's difficult. But to that point, I will say that I truly believe this in my heart, that in my lifetime, in my expression or my experience with this community, this is the best it's been.
Yeah.
This is the best it's been.
Yeah.
So for whatever it's worth, you know what I mean?
It's worth a lot.
I hope.
Especially like you said. I know you didn't say you're my senior, but brother, yeah.
I'm not. I'm really not.
In this fight game, you've been at it a while, man. And
I'm retired, brother. You're still in it.
I mean, but that's like me saying I know more about basketball than Derek Fisher just because I'm in the NBA. You know
I was never Derek Fisher.
Yeah. You're Derek
You
Fisher
give
to
me too much credit, but I
Derek
appreciate
Fisher to
it.
me.
I appreciate you.
Derek Fisher to me, my boy.
One of the things that I like about you as an individual, and one of the reasons why I just genuinely enjoy your social media content, being in proximity to you, having you on a podcast, is your energy. It is. This is gonna sound like a glazing session. You're a unique individual.
Brother.
You're a unique individual
Turn each other to donuts.
where you have
I'll glaze you right back. Go ahead.
you you have this side of you that is incredibly potent in violence. But however, you know, we did 30 minutes of a very intricate, very delicate, very nuanced conversation on a multitude of factors from politics to interpersonal relationships, sociology, psychology, morality. In 30 minutes, I was like, holy shit, if we don't turn the cameras on, we're going to do a whole podcast off the record.
I told you I had to take a video real quick so my
Yeah.
wife believes where I'm at. I can't be gone too long. You know I'm on the leash.
Is there any part of you, Tivon, that ever questioned the path you've chosen?
All the time. Every day. I wake up and I wonder, am I doing the right thing? And I'm thankful to my mother for helping me get closer. And I don't want to sound, actually I do want to sound like that guy. Get closer to God, get closer to Christ. Christ is not violent. God does not have to be violent. I hate that they've made religion so violent. I've found God to be therapeutic and the study of the Bible and Jesus therapeutic, okay? Yes, if we're using our brains in the sense of, okay, we're all so technically smart, smarter than this. This can't have happened. This is a story, this and this and that. You got to be able to think with your soul, if that makes sense. Read the stories and understand what they mean. Like my pastor last week, he actually had given me a couple verses at church to look up, and it was about asking for things because we feel bad sometimes about asking for things, and we shouldn't. Can I look those up real quick?
Sure.
It's not going to take too long.
No, you're fine.
But
I'm not.
Pastor Griffin basically had Pastor Griffin had a great amount on.
Shout out Pastor Griffin,
man. Shout out Pastor Griffin, man. He honestly, he does great things in the community, and it's easy to sit there and demonize the church. You know what I mean? Just because, again, the church is full of what? People, and people are fallible. You know what I mean? But the message of God shouldn't be fallible. You know what I mean? And again,
it's a tough thing to correlate the perfection with the imperfect. We try and strive to be in our Creator's image. However, we all understand that we're all flawed creatures. Absolutely. It does not necessarily besmirch our Creator. He did so. He created us in His image, not created us of His image, like in perfect synchronicity.
St. John chapter 14, verse 14, and Psalms 37, verse 4. Look those up, y'all, on your free time. Those were the ones that made it okay for you to sit there.
I might edit those in.
You should, man, because I
will actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
It's always something in life, dude, that you can complain about, brother. And I get depression. I know my sister suffers from depression. But at the same time, again, I'm not knocking on anybody. I'm not harping on her. I just know, you have to take certain steps to feel better. And without saying go to the gym, you need to go to the gym for your soul, man, and realize that life is deeper than that. You know, I get there's atheists out there who are like, this is it, this is all we're gonna do, and they still live normal lives and everything like that. But I just, in the end, I can't believe that we are, even though in this entire accumulation of the entire existence, we are nothing, we are something. Like, this is incredible. Life is incredible. And to think that this isn't by design in some way, and I get again, you know, people are like, well, it's not like, you know, it's human stuff going on. Brother, if you could create everything, would our creation understand us? Probably not.
As I've gotten older, when I was younger, I used to be like, God sounds kind of crazy, the guy in the sky, you know what I mean? But as I've gotten older, I'll tell you what the difference is, and I'm sure you'll attest to this. It's having children.
Mm-hmm.
Once I had children, the Bible started to become more understandable to me.
Because it's such a blessing. Bro.
You said earlier that there's not violence in the Bible. And I agree.
And there is. I didn't know. There's definitely.
But I agree and disagree. I agree and disagree. I'll give you an example.
That's not what I meant. If that's what I said.
You love your daughter and your son, right?
Oh, with all of me.
With all of you. But if they fucking act up,
I'm spanking their butt.
I'm spanking their ass.
The legal limit, 2 swats on the butt in Illinois.
Now, the context of that is like to be perspective driven, right? If I isolate the act, Tivon spanks his children, it makes you look like a hothead. It makes you look like an angry person and all these other things. However, the precursor to the act could be, my son was unruly. My son said something he shouldn't have. And there are many aptitudes for how people, like, they pursue parenthood. And I'm not trying to say that my way is best. I think that there's a lot of nuance, and you are free to your own devices to come to the conclusion yourselves. However,
it's fine for you to say your way is the best, man.
Well,
here's the thing.
Here's the thing. We don't know. My mom spanked me. My mom beat my ass. I'll be straight.
No, I just mean like as individuals. If you really want to say something, it's kind of like why I'm kind of glad that the entire environment is like it is, like socially. Because now people say what they really mean. Say how you feel. Let's stop all the behind the back and believing fully in what we believe in. It's like, this is how I believe it should be. And we don't have to fight about it.
Well, no, to that point, I do believe what I said. Yeah. I do believe that, like, okay, what works for me because of my culture, the way I was brought up, my wife, their culture. There's a lot of variables in this. And spanking works for our culture. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't believe in all of this, like, my kid until she turns 18 is my fucking kid. You know what I mean? You better fucking believe that. And if she's over 18 and she still lives in my house, she's my fucking kid. Yeah. You right? It is my job, my most important job is to create a person who is ready for the world, number one, ready for the world. And number two, is that the world is ready for. Because there's a lot of people that forget that second aspect. They want to create children that are like hardened and all this other stuff, but then aren't malleable enough to kind of understand their landscape and be like, okay, well, yeah, there are some things that I don't agree with, but am I one person going to change all of this within my lifetime? Or can I maybe create some scratches on that wall and then continue on with my life?
Teach them how to use these.
Yeah, man. There's fights worth fighting. I'm not trying to... That's how you get civil rights. That's how you get the Civil War. That's how you get the Revolutionary War. That's how you get the creation of this country. And then everything that supersedes that, right? However, these are within generations. It's not like generation after generation had its fight. There was a generation where there was an immense amount of conflict and something had to give. Give the respect and the admirance to that generation for what they overcame. That's why I have such reverence for the Founding Fathers. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. Name me one generation that is. This is one of the problems that I have with, like, our generation
90s.
today. I'll tell you what, the Charlie Kirk assassination, there was a lot of people that came out and all this other stuff. And here's what I'm going to say about this is, like, find me one person where you agree with all of their nuance. Find me one person that you can look at and say, this person is just 100% says all the things I like. And if you find that person, I'll find someone else that says, like, I hate everything they say. And the problem with the internet and globalization and communication is...
His name was Jesus. No. Go ahead.
You know what? I agree with that. There was one. I agree with that. And that's why we bestow him above all else. And he is the son of the Father, right?
You, dude.
But what I'm trying to say is... when you other people, when you dehumanize, when you cast them as different from yourself. And it's been done in many ways throughout history, through race, religion, creed, gender, pride, what have you. It's always been wrong. You need nothing but to ask your forefathers. You don't even need a history book. Ask your dad, ask your mom, ask your grandparents. If you don't have those, forgive me, ask someone older than you. They'll tell you different stories, but with the same substance. And that is, at the end of the day, you have more in common than you don't. And that we have this Venn diagram is 50% or more is interlocking. The other 40% that we try to I want to be careful of the words I use, forgive me, that we try to not dehumanize, but to cause conflict. I think it's human nature to overcome a problem, to fix something, to work at something, to progress. So sometimes when people don't necessarily have that in their life, they'll look for battles. And I think sometimes people need to take a step back and be like, hey, I really like Tivon. Tivon probably does not agree with 100% of my things. Am I going to sit here and waste all my effort to try to get Tivon to think the way I do? Or am I going to appreciate the ways that we think alike? That's how I choose to use my energy. I'm not trying to persuade you. You're going to come to your own conclusions. But I do appreciate that the majority of the things that we have in common are valuable. That's how I think. I'm not saying that
common ground.
Yeah.
It's all society.
It's not even common ground, because there might be things that you will say and do things that I don't have.
Yeah.
I'm an imperfect creature too. It's not like all my things are perfect or good. You might have things that are better than me. So it's not common ground. It's an appreciation for the correct form.
You know what? Sorry to interrupt you.
No, don't interrupt.
You know what I think it really, well, not really is, because again, I'm agreeing with your point. I think people get frustrated in the fact that everyone is moving in their same general direction, if that makes sense.
No, explain. What do you mean by that? In their general direction.
So say like me, like I said earlier, like, you know how I was over here rambling on with the pre-talk talking about how, I'm one of the intelligent ones, not because I know a lot, but because I know to put someone who knows more than me in a place of power. Again, someone might not want to move in that general direction. And someone might be like, no, that's not how it goes. Straight Democratic Party, everybody has a vote. Doesn't matter.
Then how do you distinguish, because a lot of times you hear the terms right and
You
wrong.
ever heard the word human cap? Because I might be taking it out.
Human capital?
Or human capping. I think I'm
does that mean?
I'm going to create that.
Okay.
I'm creating it.
Capping means lying?
I think... not
Sorry,
not
like
not
cap,
not in
right?
we're not going to use the Ebonics term. I mean,
Sorry.
like, you know how there's a cap on something as high as it can go.
Okay.
I think that is one of the reasons why aliens haven't talked to us yet. They've realized that humankind, at its core, is not going to be able to agree with itself, at least until we all look the same.
Yeah, but
You know what I mean?
can I present to you a different argument?
Because why would you want to be an alien and come down here and catch an inertia field metal object when these people are, you could be literal Jesus and they kill you?
Yeah, but that's the beauty of but Tivon, my counter to
Like,
that is that's the beauty of life.
That is-
Imagine a world you woke up tomorrow and everyone thought like you. Everyone liked the same music. Everyone wanted to vote the way you wanted to vote. Like,
There's a Star Trek
brother
episode about that. What were they called? The robots?
I don't know. I don't know. Forgive me. I don't. I was much more of an anime head, not necessarily sci-fi.
What's the one where they're all like a hive mind?
Yeah. Okay.
We don't want to be
one
a
brain.
hive
Yeah.
mind, yeah.
There's no life in that. Listen, I think that it is good for us to have conflict because without overcoming something, what is the point of life? Truly, like if everything is good, then nothing is good because you've never experienced a valley to appreciate the peak, right? So like, I don't necessarily think, like, to the context of what you said, I'm going to play on that. The aliens haven't arrived because we have conflict. I think the aliens haven't arrived because we haven't realized why we have conflict.
Yeah.
There is no scarcity of resources.
No.
We choose there to be.
There's no scarcity of resources, no scarcity of land.
Hold up, though. There's no scarcity of resources in terms of the abundance of the earth, but there's a scarcity of human will.
Yeah.
The same way you feel about fighting, the majority of fighters will not feel, and they won't make
we
it.
would talk about will.
Yeah, they won't make it to that level, and then they'll blame fighting. One of the things that I never did after I retired was blame fighting.
Yeah.
I was not good enough. I did not. I know this in my heart. There was a moment in time where I had that edge. I had that fire, and I was willing to pay any cost to get to that level. Then, like Rocky 3, I got domesticated, dude. I found a lady, and I got some money, and
Vegeta.
yeah, I'm Vegeta. Vegeta Buu Saga. Like a
little pre-Boo Saga.
Yeah, a little pre-Buu Saga.
Boo
But
Saga, he was
I turned from this animal into a civilized human. Now, neither right nor wrong. It's just simply what happened, right? And I never, once I failed in my endeavor, that was originally my goal, ever besmirched it. I never talked bad about fighters. I always told them, like, hey, please pursue your goals and all these other things. Just have a backup plan in case, what all these other things. To bring it back to the like overarching conversation is, to your point of like why the aliens didn't have not intervened or visited us. I choose this reality over other possibilities that could present to us less hostilities because I believe this is healthy. I truly do. Just like a fighter, if all of your fights were easy, would you be a real fighter? Like truly. If you've never had to overcome adversity, you got rocked in the first round and oh my God, I have to survive. The bell rings. Oh, thank God for that. Go back to your corner. Mom's talking to you. All right, time to come in the second round. If every fight you had, you go out there and you break bones the first fucking round, I would say that you're not a fighter. I would say that you're a great practitioner of martial arts, but you never had to fight.
Undefeated is untested, in my opinion.
Depends on the level, but I agree somewhat with that concept. But like, does my thought make sense? You have to be a fighter. You have to overcome adversity.
Have you ever seen the show Ippo? No Hajime?
Hippo?
Ippo.
No.
The boxing one?
No, Ippo. But I've seen. I'm much more at this point in my life. This is gonna sound so stupid.
No, it's not. Don't do that.
I love anime. Yeah. I do. I love video games. I love a lot of these.
You have a wife and you don't watch it that much anymore.
I just don't have the fucking time.
Yeah, brother.
Does that make sense? I love the mediums. I love the mediums. I'll never badmouth them. I just don't have the. I love Demon Slayer. Demon Slayer is like my. I went and saw the movie twice in theaters.
Ooh, I love that one, man.
Yeah. So
I'm not trying to like the Matrix.
Yeah, I'm not trying. I thought it was good.
No, it pissed me off like the end of the Matrix Reloaded.
Oh, like you're ready?
I knew it.
Did you read the manga?
I knew it though. No, I stopped, and I'm not. And don't. No.
I fucked it for myself.
I know.
I read the whole thing.
I already fucked JJK for myself, really bad.
Here's the thing I'll say though: the animation studio, especially
Nappa.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. They do an excellent job with the animation, and they amplify the manga. Usually it's sub usually, but this has been above and beyond, and I am waiting with bated breath to watch the next one.
Zenetsu's part was so dope.
It was good. Oh, all of it was good.
I was hurt when I found out what happened to the old man because I knew you already know because you were in the manga. It hit me, bro. The bug lady dying, I didn't give a fuck.
Here's the thing. This is gonna to anyone listening to this podcast. I am so sorry. I'm in the theater. I'm a 32-year-old man in the scene where Zenitsu is like apologizing to his grandpa over the river, and he can't make it over because he's not dying. And the grandpa says, "You're the pride and joy of my existence." Ooh. Dude, for me that hit because like I lost my mom. And this is the thing about anime or video games, whatever the fuck medium connects with you. And here's the thing I'm also gonna say. I never yuck anybody's yum, and that's not a sexual thing. That's like everything. There are things that people will look at me and go, "No way you're into that shit." I'm like, you guys don't understand. If I wasn't into DBZ back in the day and then Naruto and all these things, I wouldn't be the man that I am today.
Get it, brother.
You want to know the first thing that taught me about racism? Yeah. A video game called Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy X taught me about racism through the Albed and Machina and all these other things. And I'm a 7-year-old kid on a PS2 and I go, that seems kind of dumb to hate somebody on their religion.
Bro, do you know what taught me about political corruption and political maneuvering?
Solid Snake?
Gundam Wing.
Oh, yeah? Okay. Yeah. That's an anime and a video game.
I knew about the judicial
We lost 99% of this.
I know, man. I'm just
Drew just turned this off with a flaccid dick.
I know, man. I'm just...
No, but keep going. I'm into this shit.
No, I love it, brother. It's just... That's why I encourage people to... Yeah, it's got violence in it and stuff. But
it's animation.
It's really for the kids, man. Okay, I just want to say it because look, you can put on Cocomelon, you can do all that, but brother, you make your kids sit there and read an entire episode of Dragon Ball Z or an entire episode of Gundam Wing or something that's gonna make their brain Zoids or something like that.
I will say it's kind of tough depending on the medium because like I tried to get my daughter into Demon Slayer.
They're not gonna be into it.
No, the problem is the blood and here's the thing: we're as adults we forget. This shit is violent. DBZ is literally like punching holes through people and energy blasts that blow up planets. We forget that like
that's where
it's fucking violent.
You're right 100% as a parent in your regard.
I tried.
I can feel right 100%
she needs to get a little older.
In my regard because I know nowadays it's almost impossible to keep your kids desensitized to that stuff. You know what I mean? Like I come home and Callie, she's a good little girl. She'll sit there and she'll watch her.
How old is she?
She's 4 years old.
Okay, so she's 1 year. Yeah, she's just a little bit, dude. Just a little bit older than my daughter.
And my son will be 7.
God bless. God bless.
But they need to stop growing up. Not like
Have you ever thought about a third?
Mariah's thought about a third. I've thought about a third. I'm always down. Mariah's fine. I'll pop as many babies in her as possible.
Can we touch on that just for a second before we go back to the other?
Absolutely.
I hear from a lot of my friends that the main precursor to not have children is finances.
Yeah.
And I want to be careful how I say this because
snaps.
yeah, well, we'll talk about that too because you're not going to like a lot of what I'm going to have to say about politics, but I guarantee you're not going to like what I say. But I will articulate my argument in a way that you can understand why I think the way I do.
I won't like it as much as I don't like as I flip open the newspaper and see, oh man, the Dow's down.
I don't care about that. I don't care. You know what's funny?
I care, but it's not going to hurt me.
I don't care. I don't care because I understand one thing: these things only affect me in the near term, and over the long. The way I invest was the Warren Buffett way. I don't buy a single stock that I'm not going to keep for 5 years. I don't engage in day trading.
Known you had stocks.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
I should have known it. I should have known
stocks,
to bring up
precious metals. Dude, I own commodities on water.
Ooh,
you know what I mean? So
see, we need to have that conversation.
Yeah. The problem is, I don't think people want to have that conversation.
No, I mean after.
Yeah, fair. Trust me, I've thought about doing monologues about monologues. I wanted to do monologues on here is how I went from poor to lower middle class to middle class, and by no means am I upper class, but I am now healthily at upper middle class.
You're upper class to me.
No,
brother.
I'm upper middle class. I have no delusions
You're
of
so
grandeur.
snazzy.
Thank you. I didn't wear a suit today. Forgive me. But that's the monologues I wanted to do. The problem is, I truly don't think there's a market for that because inherently, I think all people know when they're making mistakes, they just don't want to They don't want to acknowledge it.
And Coach Mop showed me a freaking dude who's famous for talking finance. I don't know, man. There's
a bunch of
there's
those
a market
guys.
for feet, dude. I hear you just gotta put it out there. One video.
I don't look as good as some of these girls'
straight.
feet.
Stop capping, dude. You look better, man.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I think to myself
you overthink everything, brother. We analyze. That's why you're awesome.
Oh, I appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
Do you mind if we take a step back?
Yeah, my bad, dude.
No, I want to go back to your fight because we were talking about Fury FC and how you got traveled over to them. I'm sure they will not characterize it as this, but you upset the local individual. Can we go back to your conversation about how that fight happened? Because we kind of and I love the rabbit holes. Don't get me wrong. So I don't want to dilute
I'll stay
them.
on track, man.
No. I love this shit. It's my job to bring us back. It's my job to bring us back.
That I didn't take you up on that whiskey, man. Ooh, I miss drinking so much. But stop. Okay, back to what we were talking about. All right, travel.
So they contacted you individually. Said,
Richard,
hey, we got this
my
fight.
boy.
From there, so they contacted you.
Richard contacted me directly. He was like, "You want to fight this guy?" And he just sent me over his little boxing page or whatever.
Tapology. Oh, was it boxing? No, it was MMA.
No, it was his boxing profile. So I instantly said, yeah. I was gonna, first of all, let this be said, I'm gonna instantly say yes anyway. That's why I'm always told to defer to my managers because Mop told me, he gave me an expression. He was like, do you know so-and-so? And I can't remember who he was talking about, but he was just like, so-and-so accepts any fight that he wants, or any fight.
Me. I'll tell you right now, don't do
So-and-so's
that.
record reflects that.
Ooh, Montreal James.
So damn.
I said it.
Name drop Montreal. That's crazy.
I had him on the podcast. I'll have him again.
What's up, killer?
Yeah. Hey, he's a great guy.
Anyway,
I don't agree with his the way he attacks the game, but he's a great guy.
He's a fellow watermelon person. Anyway, so we
I did not say that.
I know what you meant. No, I'm playing. Anyway, so we had that conversation. I'll accept the fight against anybody because, again, it's that anime mindset we were talking about. Again, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole again, but anime has taught me one thing. This is a beautiful journey we are on. I'm 33 years old. You know what I mean? I'm ready to I feel like I'm in the prime of my life. People will be like, oh, I'm all hurt and beat up. I'm all hurt and beat up, too, but at the same time, that boy gets the pump and I'm ready to fight. So Richard hit me up. You want to fight this guy? Hell yeah, I want to fight this guy. He's like, this date, I don't even look at the date. You know what I mean? I'm just like, whatever. I'm going to set it up, blah, blah, blah. Of course, every time I do this, Mop, he looks at me like this when I come in the gym. He's like,
how'd you do that?
He's like, all right, are you sure you're ready to take this fight? Because I noticed that you didn't do any research. And then I was like, I Googled him. Of Of course, my research is ass.
Got the
compared to
Wikipedia.
Mop's. So Mop starts bringing up all these videos. He's working out with Daniel Cormier. He's got a picture with Francis Ngannou. He's a boxing champion 3 times over in Africa. He's jacked. He's this and that. You know what I mean? And I was just like, cool blood. Like, yeah, whatever. I was like, you know what? I already took it. We're not going to sit here and say we're going to take it. And Mop, he's first of all, Mop is 100% one of the most supportive coaches right next to Coach Yogi. And that's my dog. And my
Johannes Flogger. When you say Yogi, forgive me.
Yeah, man.
Shout
Johannes
out
Flogger. Shout out the old guard, brother. He is old school, God of War, man. But again, the rabbit hole.
No.
So I digress.
I like him too. That's why I wanted to say it.
I love Yogi. So Mop's like, if you want to take it, I'm down to take it. You know how he talks. Yeah, you want to take it, I'm down to take it. He said,
He's going to listen to this and be like, fuck you. Why'd you give me that voice?
He beat my ass up.
Do me a favor. Wide shot grabbing the Blantons. I'm sorry. I'm in it for now. I love you. Continue.
He beat me up one day. That's for that. And now
Mop?
He always razzes me about my
Blantons is the
gambling
round
addiction.
one. I know you don't know. It's the one with the horse on it. The one with the horse on it. Yeah. Thank you, sir. He's a young man. Give him time.
Can I give it a sniff?
Yeah, brother, you can give it a touch.
Oh man, I can give it a touch. Oh shit, my bad.
Don't tease me with a good time.
My bad. I was like, dude.
I feel bad now because I feel like I'm like
It's good, brother.
the devil. Like I'm with my fruit. I'm Eve.
You know,
Bite the apple.
like I said, it could be the next 2 weeks they call, so I can't even risk having a little
No.
bit of
I asked you. You said no.
man.
I'm not trying to entice
Ooh.
you. However,
He
I
said,
am
"Let me put
retired.
that
It's
right
the weekend. I'm going to enjoy.
Hell yeah.
You want one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just leave it there. If you want one, you can, man. You can drink on the job. I don't care. All right. Cheers with your coffee.
Here we go.
I don't care. I appreciate you being on the podcast, brother.
Appreciate you having me, man. I appreciate the conversation because, like I said, brother, it's one of the only times I get out of the house.
Really? You go to the gym a bunch.
Man, and
You consider gym work, though?
no, I don't. I consider that a blessing that I get to go to and the people I get to commune with, Clark Stith, Dylan Hogan, Jordan Dowdy, Sean Woodson, Dwayne Diggs, and the rest of the new guys that have come in around. Bro, they're all family to me, man, and they're honestly some of the coolest people on the planet. No, I don't consider that work at all. I consider that a release, and I consider being able to move and have articulation within my fingertips and be able to get beat up by these guys. Forgot Christian, my big boy Christian, and of course Mop and Drew. It's what's the word where you can't explain something?
Oh.
Give me the big thesaurus.
I mean, there's
unexplainable. Give it to me.
Yeah, I mean,
you got one.
Unimaginable. You can have. There's no word to describe, but that's more of like a phrase. There's no word to describe that feeling. I feel you.
Visceral love.
You know when you have it.
I've never loved a man so much other than my father.
Who, Mop?
No, just all those men.
Oh, all those guys. God bless, gentlemen. You guys can get a rub and tug whenever
Jeremy.
you want.
I
You just don't know it.
Yeah, no, dude.
Nothing feels better than a solid, strong black hand around your member.
Ask my penis. So anyway, like I said, I only spend time with
That's
the
a
family
clip.
and the gym. I only go to with my family in the gym. And like I said, I love my family. You should always love your family. Every moment with your family. When people say things like I'm overstimulated right now with my kids, honestly,
It doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make any sense to me, bro. Your kids are your everything, bro. And I get, you might be the only caretaker sometimes and stuff like that. But I just can't agree with you.
It's okay to be tired.
Yeah, it's okay to be tired.
It's an exhausting job.
Yeah,
I just don't agree with.
And sometimes you yell at your kids, like.
I told you off the record. My wife is out of town, and I'm
It's kicking your ass.
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily kicking my ass.
It would kick my ass.
I only have one. If I had two, it would kick my ass.
Beat the shit out of me.
The problem is
Shout
not
out
the problem
AJ
is
Hoskin.
the God. What is the word I want to use to describe this? The overwhelming. I wanted this. This is my goal. I'm
overwhelming sense.
I'm glad that I'm tired because I'm tired about like the next generation. So like I look at it as a blessing. Do I want a break from that blessing sometimes? Absolutely. But I've never looked at my daughter with any sort of like, there's never been, I look at my daughter and there's never in my life been like a negative thought. It's only been positive. It's only been good. It's only been like better than me. You know what I mean? However, I'm human. I get tired and I want a nap and all these other things. So it's keen to like separate the individual thing. And
You know how
this is
dark
an
I am in
individual.
our chat.
Yeah.
I've
Dude, your
definitely
memes,
I've had dark thoughts about my daughter all the time.
no,
Just briefly though.
I don't think
For
you
like
do. I don't think you do.
point
I don't
to
think
me.
you do.
Like yesterday. So my
Yeah, but
daughter
you-
isn't like my son. She doesn't let it go. I'm talking about, bro. I'm talking about she'll remember
Foster
something.
that.
Bro,
Foster
she
Like a female elephant.
she does not let it go. I'm talking about Kai. He'll be like, I don't want that. I want this candy. I wanted that. No, I said no. He gonna sit over there and pout. She will.
Oh, really? Sensitive?
An hour later, what's
Sensitive?
wrong? I wanted that piece of candy at the store.
She's just a girl. They're different.
That is the truth, bro.
That is
That
different.
is the truth. That's my baby girl.
Dude,
and
my
in that moment, if that whole hour of her going, yeah, sometimes I'm like, man, I should slam her hand in the door just so she forgets about it. Oh, what did I think that for?
Oh, that's
terrible.
dude. That's
oh,
every,
that's dark.
That's
That's
every
terrible.
parent ever. That's every parent ever. But you don't like.
Boom! Oh, my finger. Oh, daddy.
You want to overwhelm that instance, but you don't want to. I get
That's
that.
child
thought.
abuse.
Yeah. I get that thought. I think every parent ever has had thoughts like that, where you want to overcome that instance, but you don't want to cause like harm
Any
or anything.
harm, ever.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I spank my daughter.
Yeah.
When she acts up, I spank that ass.
You should
know what I
definitely
mean?
give them a little physical.
Hey, you keep acting up, I'm spank your ass.
Young buck, young brother.
And then I'll give you to Tivon. He spanks harder. For those that don't
Like
know, we got a little white boy.
Episode of Locked Up over
As
here.
our producer.
Let me out.
They don't pay me enough for this. No,
It's
but
like
like,
that reel I saw. It said whenever you going on the 3-man and the girls don't show up, so you take the most petite and it's that little dude reaching out. He grabbing the little guy.
the most manly thing I've ever heard in my life is a hole is a hole.
yeah.
Anyway, what
It's
the
that
fuck are we
bro.
talking about?
It's the hole, dude. I'm sorry.
We went from parenthood to
We were supposed to be
prison.
talking about the fight.
Yes, you got traveled. It was memorable. You broke arms.
Damn it. You broke arms.
arm,
That's not
arm,
funny.
singular. Dude, fuck it. We'll just go with the flow.
Fuck it.
No, let me ask you the more broad questions,
Yes,
man,
sir.
because this is you gave me a massive respect when you talked about like how you look and view me, which I want you to know I appreciate and I value very much. I want you to know that. However, there is a part of me that like understands that I'm disassociated now. I am out of the group, and I have to respect that. I'm no longer a fighter. I'm just an old head at this
I
point.
disagree. You're not out of the group. Do you know why? You're affiliated because you're in the media now, and you're the most important part of the group. Mixed martial arts wouldn't have been a thing without the media and mixed martial arts. You guys are one of the more important aspects of the entire game. That's why when that whole beef happened with the Ariel Helwani and Dana White happened, that was a big thing, bro.
Well,
Because
he
he's
did
a
fuck up.
huge proprietor. Oh yeah, he did. He let
you
go of
see-
some secret information. That,
Did you see
that-
Dana's last podcast with Logan Paul, where he was like, "I probably should remedy that bridge." I like
That's
that.
dope. I didn't
like
see that,
I
but
like
that's
that.
dope. But do you see what I'm saying though? Like
Yeah.
the media, even though that's why I feel like the world is heading in such a weird direction. Because I get, yeah, it's okay to not like bad media, but we're literally demonizing the media now. Our
There-
access to information, and our information is bought out by the people who are supposed to have the information revealed about them.
Well, let me take a step back. I think that multiple things can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
I think everything you said is correct, by the way. I think that media is bought out. I think that what is going to happen, and this is why I have so much reverence for
Star
America. Well, the reason I have so much reverence for America is our open markets. So, like, if enough conglomerates get purchased by special interest, it'll create a vacuum for competition. And because we have the entrepreneurial spirit as Americans, and because we have the government capabilities to allow us to pursue our dreams and aspirations, someone can come and compete. I would make the argument that independent media now is more influential. If there's a pie
The
chart,
TikTok people?
yeah. Well, no, independent
But
media
it's just hard to fact check those people, man.
no. Give me 1 second.
My
Sorry.
bad,
Independent media is more influential than media, like massive media, because massive media is like my dad, like the fucking boomers. You know what I mean? Fox News, CNN, MSNBC. Like,
Turn it on at 5.
congratulations, guys. You guys are dead. All of you are dead in 10 years. All of you, because all of us, you, me. When's the last time you sat down and watched Fox News or CNN or MSNBC or or any sort of like mainstream media? When's the last time you took time out of your day to sit down and watch that?
To sit down and watch it, never. But I will say, when I wake up in the morning and get
The
ready
clips.
for work, yeah, I go to YouTube and I turn on the news.
I would consider the clips. I would consider the clips independent media.
Would you?
Yeah,
Why
because
is that?
because they don't have the Pfizer, the Moderna, like whatever ads playing into it. What I consider massive media, or like the structured media ecosystem, is in correlation tied to the marketing dollars of all the industries that we blame for all our woes, from war, pharmaceuticals, what have you, right? When you get clips and stuff like that, and you're only getting an ad every like 5 scrolls, it has a diluted power. Does that make sense? Because now you're marketing with everybody else. Because Frito-Lay is not going to market as hard at NBC, because that's not their target demographic, or Bud Light, or whatever business
Why
we're
wouldn't
talking about.
Frito-Lay market with NBC? Don't
Because they
wanna
have
sell their
they have a
chips?
whole group of marketing individuals who have dissected the numbers, and they know exactly their demographic, and they're going to target that through social media, and that is going to dilute
It's the
power.
social surveys. You ever
Yeah.
get pulled back in the mall for one of those?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: power is like there is a 100% pie chart to power. Now, the expansion of that pie chart can expand or contract. However, there's 100%, right? You can't go like 101%. What I'm trying to say is, when you have decoupled yourself from cable television, and the fact that, like, if you watched news 20 years ago, if you wanted to be informed, even if it was misinformed, you had to watch the news. When George W. Bush was president, CNN would misinform you. Fox News would misinform you with their propaganda. When Obama was president, same thing. When Trump 1 was president, same thing. When Biden was president, same thing. When Trump 2 is president, shocker, spoiler warning, same thing.
What was Watergate? Nixon? Same thing.
That's more. That's more. Now we're talking about, like, this is outside of media. This is now the machine.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I recently did. I was again, when I say researched, I've looked up.
Did a
few
Google search or
things.
two?
Yeah, I did a Google search.
Yeah, it's
on
more
it.
than most. That is more than most. To take back to what I'm saying, though, the reason why I have faith, and the reason why I'm optimistic, is because I do believe that independent media now, at this point in my life, has more, I don't want to say sway or influence, but they have a more broad ecosystem or viewers, okay?
Would you say that it reaches a more active crowd? Because if you think about it, the
Because
independent
because young people are like they're not. We like to think that we are. We're the kind of people that will change our Twitter profile to a black picture and say BLM, but we won't march. We
Well-
don't do any of that shit. When you look at the No Kings rally and the money that was behind it, it was a bunch of old people.
yeah.
It was a bunch of senior citizens that wanted some extra income on top of their Social Security. You and I are too busy trying to survive.
Boy.
I'm not trying to say, like, we can have political beliefs, but if you told me, Ariane, take a day out of your life and go march, I'm like, are you going to pay me $5,000? That's my daily rate.
Yeah.
If you're not going to pay me, fuck you. I'm going to go make my own money.
Yeah.
So, like, if someone's making $1,600 a month on Social Security, on Medicaid, Medicare, on whatever SNAP program they have to be on, they're going to look at that $800 and be like, that's gonna be my nut for this month. Cool. I'll go do that.
no.
I don't believe this is like a youth. I believe the youth get involved out of passion, and those are few and far between.
Yeah.
The most passionate thing I've seen in my lifetime was BLM and Israel-Palestine. Outside of those two, everything else is almost like whatever.
I hate what happened to BLM, bro.
Well,
'Cause
it's the
look,
same thing that happens to everything when
Just
you
like
introduce
how they
money.
trying to take the word woke. I hate the word war on woke. Y'all can't take woke from me. Woke was me when I didn't believe the 9/11 conspiracy. Okay? That was woke for me. Woke is me questioning my reality. That is woke. Woke does not mean, oh, I am only a left liberal or something like that.
They stole it from you?
They stole the word. Ask. Have you never seen that part? Or Cat Williams was talking about that. He's like, y'all ain't taking woke from us. Like, that don't mean this and that. Y'all weird. Y'all can't have woke. I think that was another play by the machine, brother. to take the word woke away because they want you asleep. What's the best way to prove your power to take the whole word away? They took woke, man. They literally made the war on woke. Your boy Elon is sharing stuff, the war on woke. What is going on?
It goes back to my thing about like I think that individuals are flawed, so that we can't necessarily say that like, oh, this means like the broad consensus, right?
Yeah.
I also think that in a world where economic opportunities are fleeting, they're regressing, not progressing, okay? Meaning it is harder. I said this to Adam off the record. I'm going to say it on the record.
Okay.
There is it's not mutually exclusive. Two things can be correct at the same time. I think that this generation has it harder than the previous generations, okay? Economically. Now, I'm not saying that we had to fight through World War II. I'm
Or
not
have
saying that we had
cocaine
to
in
go
our
through-
Coca-Cola.
we have different circumstances that we're overcoming, but they're not lesser than or greater to. They're just different. Economically speaking, our generation has the hardest time or the biggest hurdles to overcome.
You can't shine shoes for a living anymore.
Yeah, but you also have like a fleet of data analysts that I can automate with one Excel spreadsheet.
know what I mean?
I hate to say it that way, but let me take a step back. I will also say that the generation that does have a claim to saying that it is more difficult to achieve the American dream economically is also the one that is the most inept, the most retarded,
Why
the
are
most
farmers poor?
unprepared for the real world.
Why are farmers poor? How are people
Why
who
are
make our
farmers
food
poor? I can explain that to you if you want.
Yeah.
Conglomeration and power
Can you do
association.
it? Could you condense it into a minute?
Yeah, I can condense it to a sentence.
Okay.
When you
No,
have
because
less-
I need longer to
No,
understand.
when you have less players in an industry, it's easier to aggregate power. One sentence. It's monopoly personified.
Okay. So explain to me.
Tyson is your enemy. Tyson chicken, Tyson meat is your enemy. What they do is they outsource the proliferation of meats to individual farmers, and it's like Jim Crow all over again. But white, black, poor, rich, doesn't matter. They're all fighting for the same scraps. That's how you get poor farmers. Now, extrapolate that, because I don't know the soybean company. I don't know the wheat company. I don't know these companies,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? But if you expand that, if Tyson is the one for poultry and meats,
Oh, they're
there's-
definitely doing it for them.
there's Cisco is the one for restaurants. Like we simultaneously have two things going on in this country at the same time. We have there's never been a greater opportunity because of automation, AI, and productive capabilities to become an entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's so scary.
I don't agree.
Oh,
I think
man.
it's so opportunistic. However,
It is.
However, with that opportunity comes
Scary.
here's the problem. Here's the problem with averages.
I don't want to be on video, doing crimes
You're not doing
that
crap.
I didn't do.
What do you mean?
You know how good AI is getting at like producing visual images.
Yeah. Well, okay. There's like Sora 2, Sora 3. There's
Did y'all
like
see Tivon choke that dog to
yeah,
death?
it's gonna
What a
get,
sicko!
You're talking about the uncanny valley,
Yeah.
and that's where humans can no longer deduce like what's fake and what's real. That
They
okay.
got me yesterday. I thought they were making a solo level in movie until this guy walked by with 3 arms. I was like,
Holy shit.
no, I got.
Yeah. So okay. Let me take a step back. I think
sorry.
I think that is a very real scare because I think that especially older people are so easy to propagate.
Oh, they're going
I
for
can
it.
create a video using Sora 2, having Tivon say the most rancid shit, and you probably 100% have said all those things.
Our chat.
However, you didn't say them in public.
Don't expose the chat.
Nothing that I wouldn't have said, by the way, or I wouldn't say, by the way. However, what I'm trying to say is like, if I can decouple the media outlet from the productive capabilities, right? I'll explain to you for now. Like the reason this podcast can exist in today is like I've accepted that this will make no money ever. That's fine. I enjoy it enough to take the hit. However, I had to dilute my losses by automating.
Yeah.
So I still keep a producer because I think the producer offers a lot of human value. We banter and all this other shit. But because I can automate a lot of things. I automated the clipping. I automated the creation of the
Is
episodes.
this a warning?
No, what it is an opportunity. If you're an individual that
Do your job with it.
no, if you're this is what I'm getting at. The problem with averages is if you're 50%, what does that mean? 49% is below. But what does that also mean? 49% is above. So for the average person, automation probably won't mean anything to you, truly, because you're the average. You'll still have your job, even if it's middle management. Like you'll still have it, at least for the next 20 years.
As long
But
as
if
you're not a cashier at Walmart.
I think what will happen is I've said this with Jordan Dowdy. I'll say it with you. I think that what we're going to do is we're going to automate so much that we're going to appreciate the value of the human element, and that people will pay extra. We will now pay a premium for that human element. Like I'll give you an example. When I go to a restaurant, I want a waiter.
Yeah.
I want a waiter. I want a waiter that will banter with me, call me gay, and all these other fucking things. Like I go to Capitol Grill all the time out in Clayton. Shout out Brandon at Capitol Grill.
I want a white waiter that I don't have to tip. No, I'm just kidding.
If you're willing to pay extra for the dinner, you probably don't have to.
Fuck no, I'm just
Does that?
playing.
But like, I get what
That's some of that sick shit.
No, but I get what you're trying to say with this though. Is like I think what'll happen is the market will win, like it always has since antiquity. We'll automate a bunch of shit. People will hurt, but we won't change because people are hurting. We will change because of what people want, and people want other people. It's a social need is one of our needs. Food, water, shelter, social.
You know what taught me that? iRobot, great movie. Remember when all the
Will Smith,
robots
shout out.
hooped to get a group together?
Yeah.
You know, in those crates. Like, why do they seek social interaction when put in these?
The same reason humans
We're
do.
the same people, and that's the soul, man. That movie touched on the theory of the soul.
Can I present to you a different argument?
Yes, sir.
Because right now we're living in the AI era. But how do you think farmers felt during the industrialization of the Midwest?
Man, they were on an up then.
When people were leaving the farms to go to the factories, what do you think the farmers were thinking then?
I think that they were like, all right, this is our chance to monopolize the market ourselves.
Do you think they looked at it? Do you think they looked at it? I love the way you said that. I love the way you said that because that's the truth. That's what ended up happening. That's how you get a Tyson. Do you think they looked at the Industrial Revolution as like this like massive hurdle? Or do you think they looked at it as like this immense opportunity?
They were like, we are going
all
to
these
become
people are leaving.
The major proprietor.
And there's still 350 million people in America that love eating chicken.
It's kind of like oil.
Yes.
That's why Tyson is like an oil company.
Yeah, it is the Exxon Mobil of chicken and pork and beef. You're absolutely correct. You're not wrong in that assumption. But here's my question to you now, if you don't mind me asking. Let me revert it to you. I'm not trying to put you on the spot,
No,
but I'm
put me on
curious.
the spot, bro.
Is that bad? Is that a bad thing? Do you want more farmers?
That's not a bad thing. That they had got the sense that this is their chance to get rich, because everybody wants their chance to get rich.
No, Tivon, may I make a? It is when you say Tyson got rich. Explain that to me. What do you mean by that?
So if I were to, again, in layman's term, understand kind of how you have, because remember, you kind of explained what Tyson did to me. You're good. They outsourced a bunch to all these different farmers and kind of lowball them basically for the chicken.
Yeah, and then the delta between what they bought the chicken for and what they sell the chicken for is their profit.
Exactly. And they're doing it at such a weird margin now that these farmers are poor. And the only way to solve
what does that
that,
give you? What does that give you, Tivon Taylor?
what does that give me?
Gives you a $6 chicken sandwich at Chick-fil-A.
Exactly. And
You benefit from it and you don't even know it.
this is where I and the politics start to have to kind of come together, because this is what I kind of think that's what our tax money should be used for. Get rid of property taxes, pay the farmers, pay the doctors, pay the police. You know what I mean? And don't just pay them well. And
What is well?
like what they're making. You know what I mean?
What is what they're making?
So
This is the problem, right?
you have to find
we
the
say
average,
these things.
and then you have to say, are you doctors okay with going to school for this average? And then it's like whoever says this is the average payment for all the doctors in the world, in the country, even the specialists, even the neurosurgeons, even the guys who have to go and reattach the certain really small nervous system. And then they're like, oh, well, is that going to make people even want to innovate in those fields? And again, that's all the way looping back to that point I made. Nobody wants to follow the general flow of things, brother. And it's just, but that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? In my opinion, I think that if we're paying taxes for anything, it's for necessity. And what's more necessary than feeding the nation, educating the nation, protecting the nation, and providing the nation with health care? Those are four things that I would be fine with us burning trillions and trillions of dollars on. And all these other things and subsidies and stuff like that, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of weird. You know what I mean? I don't agree with people losing their jobs though, like they're doing in the government, like, you know, cutting off certain parts of the government just because they say, oh,
Through Doge?
yeah, through the Doge and stuff like that, because all you're doing is creating a bigger problem. I think that, again, our tax dollars should be used to create dumb jobs. Like you should pick up cigarette butts off the street for 15 an hour all day. You know what I mean? If that's the worst you can get.
We're going to get back on the topic of politics, but we were having a great discussion off the record because I had to go pee. You said race is not anything. While I agree, I disagree in this aspect. Race is a powerful driving force for community. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I have pride in my Albanian heritage, but I'm an American. I'm sure you have pride in your African American heritage.
And that was the point I was going to make to
yes,
you.
okay.
Like I said, you and me on an intellectual level. You know what I'm saying, brother? Like, I call you brother, and I mean that shit because
Likewise,
I
brother.
love you all, and I can, no homo, touch you and be comfortable touching you
Please.
and fucking
Please.
grappling with you.
There's only so much
and
teasing a man can take.
staying in a tent, using the same bathroom with you. I have no problem with that. I have no hate in my heart for any race, religion,
Agreed.
creed, or color. Race means nothing to me. But also, like you said, though, there's nothing wrong with having pride in your race. I definitely have pride in the Afro heritage that I have. People like Fred Hampton, Huey P. Newton, the shit that they went to.
Frederick
Malcolm
Douglass.
X, Frederick Douglass.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I find my race fascinating. And I don't think it's wrong for white people to say, I find my race fascinating. I find white race fascinating and all the different cultures inside of the white race fascinating, from, you know what I mean, the Albanians to, you know what I mean, to the Ukrainians, to, you know, the shit on Ukraine right now is going to be hella movies about that over there soon enough. You know what I mean? Because I watch on Reddit people getting blown up right now. Okay.
Bro, I the same way we look at the Vietnam War, the same way we look at the war on terror, I think that we are going to look at the Ukrainian conflict with
We have
Russia
mercenaries over there right
as-
now, brother.
Yeah, I know. And by the
Whoa!
way, so did Russia.
There's real life people out there just murking each other, man.
Which then leads you to believe, like, why? But
Money. That's why if you're a merc in America, you ain't going over there to help the Ukrainians. You're over there for $100,000 a year.
It's the same mentality that a cage fighter has to travel to another state to fight some guy is the same way a mercenary has to go to a different country and fight on the front
That's
lines.
what I've done for years of my life, and I'm ready to do it more.
And I got a buddy who does.
And I got a family to feed.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. I often say this and I get scoffed at, but I want to go back to the conversation of race. But I often say this and I get scoffed at when I say that every single conflict that has ever existed has always stemmed from economics. Even racism.
Yeah.
Even racism. Racism, sexism,
Civil War
othering
not
of others.
fought about slavery.
The problem is it's a really easy thing for humanity to do, is to say that you are not like me. Therefore, me and the people that think or look or act like me deserve a certain quality of life, and you deserve a lesser quality of life, because by virtue of you getting a lesser quality of life, me getting an above average quality of life is easier. And I think that has existed throughout humanity. Jews, Christians, Gentiles, Muslims, black, white, Asian, Hispanics. Insert whatever variable you could distinguish as differing from people, it's been used. Age bias, disability, sex, religion, gender, whatever. I said sex, sorry.
Sex
the
and
liberals
gender.
are going to fucking lose their mind. There's 80 genders. Anyway, I think when we go back to the thing about specifically race, I think there are two things. Once again, they're not mutually exclusive. I think that disliking someone on the sole purpose of race seems intellectually dishonest. I could see why appreciating someone on race is not the same thing. I'll tell you why. And this is something that I feel. I, as a fighter, was called the Albanian one because I took pride in my roots. This is what birthed me. If it wasn't for the nation, the country of Albania, and everything that it had to fight through, I wouldn't be here today. So who am I to not have pride in myself? You might be a black man who was born in America, but your roots date back to Africa. Your roots date back to, technically speaking, all of ours equate back to the Fertile Crescent, Egypt, whatever, if you believe in evolution. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is, because black people or Asians or Hispanics can find unity within their subculture, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad thing. No. However, Here's my caveat to that.
Mm-hmm.
Every other culture has demonized white people doing that.
White people having.
If I said white power right now, what is the context? If I say black power, brown power, yellow power,
people
fine.
would think about the white
History.
power group.
History.
Yeah, that's what they would think.
But that history
and
is
that's
also
just unfortunate.
No, that history is also relegated to America.
Yeah.
If you go to Europe, they might not know what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. So caveat to your caveat though. So when you say white power, does it technically mean I have pride in the fact that I'm white? White people are superior, or are you not looking at your own roots? Because again, do you identify as a white man?
No, I gotta be honest with you.
Hey, fuck it.
It's a good question. Because I am white, right? This is the joke that I always say is I'm white when I'm around minorities. But when I'm around white people, like Americans, I'm reminded that I'm foreign. Does that make sense?
That does make sense to me. And I wouldn't be ignorant enough to sit here and say that I wouldn't understand how maybe Irish people feel.
But however,
you know what I mean?
if I were to put myself in a subculture, I'm not black, I'm not Asian, I'm not Hispanic, I am white. Does that make sense? So like in one aspect of that,
that's why
I'm not.
That's the caveat.
Yes.
The caveat I was saying.
Because I'm not the others. I am white.
Because if you say white power, you, in some people's opinion, mean, okay, white people are superior. Now, if I say black people power, there's not really a lot of Africans over there banging black power. Do you know what I mean? The American, I hate saying African American because we're not. And
just say Black America.
When you were saying that my roots, they date back to Africa, I was going to interject there and say, brother, I'm American 100%.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? That's even though you know that I am not from this land. The reason why I would say that
you're not born here in America? Forgive me.
No, I was.
Okay, you were born. Okay, forgive me.
And that is why
I feel. I'm more foreign than you are.
Yeah, and my parents were born here, and their parents were born here, and just because we can't genealogically track before my granddad's dad, because they were all from the same place, you know what I mean, in Kentucky, you know what I mean?
Ooh,
and he had
the
12.
South.
So you know what it was.
Yeah, God bless.
You know
no,
what I mean?
I don't. I've only from what I've read.
Slavery, you know what I mean? And people act like that's so far removed from where we are right now. But like I said, that's my great-grandfather. You know what I mean? Like, but
this is where I disagree. I do believe it is removed. I do believe it is removed.
No, it definitely is because there's not people still enslaved in America. You know what I mean? But it's not that hard to instill the same amount of thinking to two other people.
No, I'll tell you why. And
like, think
believe
about it,
me,
Jim Crow just ended.
I know. Here's what I'm about to say.
Through Jim Crow.
Here's what I'm going to say, and then believe me, interject. Okay. I saw my family, first generation immigrants, and the variable that they're white is definitely present on me. Don't get me wrong. However, I saw my family who didn't know the culture, didn't know the language. They suffered. My dad and my mom, the life that they lived is inferior to me in every way.
Yeah.
And there is a certain solemn, it is a damage to me that I feel on my soul because I'm in one respect very grateful to my parents for making that sacrifice, but also very cognizant of the sacrifice that they made. They could have lived in Albania and probably they would have lived a better life, but I would have lived an inferior life. But they came over to America and vice versa, right?
It's the best place to be.
But I saw in one generation, not even one generation, in 15 years, my brother is a multimillionaire. Tivon, I do very well for myself, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I saw in one generation how these circumstances can be overwhelmed and overcome. So I once again, it's not mutually exclusive. I can agree with you that the plight of Black people is probably the strongest plight in American history. However, in the year of our Lord 2025, I don't think it has a lot of value. I think if you're a loser in America today, it's your fault.
Now it's time for our great
Yes,
social
yes.
discourse.
I tried to talk about fighting.
I love it.
By the way, I'm a big fan. We're going to talk
I'm
off
a
the
fan
record.
of yours as well.
Yeah.
I think it's more prevalent now, brother. You know
think
why? I get on X and I see how prevalent it is, man. I get on X and I see all these people talking about the didn't do nothings and then the per capitas, and you guys make up all this stuff. And we were talking about Charlie Kirk, rest in peace, you know, no disrespect to the man, but we were talking about, because you said you were amazed about how evil the world was and how people were celebrating his death. And
I was saying how shocked I was at
how
the
people
reaction.
could do that,
At the
you know?
reaction.
And at the same time, and we were talking about that a little bit, and I was just like, I wasn't too shocked at people in the black community, just because if you claim to be a man of God like he was, you offer a way out. You know what I'm saying? You offer a solution. You offer more than just finger pointing and more talking points to further inflame a group that's already being targeted again in the media. I love X for the fact that it's one of the last free places to where you can actually put whatever
In a weird way,
you
God
want.
bless Elon Musk.
Yeah,
In a weird way.
God bless Elon Musk.
Even though he's about to replace all of us, God bless him.
God bless Elon Musk. Don't assassinate me, but fuck you too, because
With
of
your
all
army
that.
robot.
Yeah, bro. Fuck you too, though, man.
Optimus. That's the last word I'm gonna say as I die.
He's one of those guys further perpetuating that media sense of, oh, these black guys are getting out of jail and they're just committing crimes on people. First of all,
Even Elon, you say that about Elon?
brother, I'll go on there right now and I can see that he shared that bullshit about some guy getting out because the judge let him out of jail 25 times, and then it'll just be all
hold
the
up
black.
Though, hold up though, Tivon, I love you.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Did judges?
They did, but it's not just black people. They let all kinds of people out like that, but they seem to specifically target the African American community on the X platform.
Do you think it's possible that a certain individual?
I mean, my bad to interject you again.
Go ahead.
Just because also when people look at that at face value, they're like, why did they let him out? Oh, he's black. People don't seem to understand what's going on with our mental health care situation right now. If you're a judge and this guy comes up here talking about, I'm going to bend a foil hat in half and I'm going to put it up my ass. Let me go ahead and put him in there with some serious criminals so they can kill him.
Just for context to the listeners, are we talking about specifically the person who?
Not the guy who not
guy who
specifically the guy who stabbed the
Irenia?
Ukrainian woman.
Okay.
In the face, but he's one of the ones that Elon Musk has been showing around. And again, if you're a genius, you know what I mean? If you're a genius like he claims to be, if you're a man who is the richest in the world, you should be able to look at the data and know that people, like you said, are not inherently evil. You know what I mean? If anything, you should be able to look at the data and realize it's poverty that causes all this. It's the mental health situation that causes all this. So instead of you sitting here and spreading this negative information on it and trying to be more inflammatory, why don't you say, hold on, let me go ahead and delegate $1 billion and be a real man of the planet to go ahead and help mental health care, help solve poverty. Why? Because it's not profitable to him, brother. He's running the same racket. I don't think he's a real for real genius. I don't think he's one of the guys that should be uplifted into the spotlight like that, because he's one of the guys. That's what I said about the intelligence earlier. He's not somebody who I would talk to and be like, oh, maybe he needs to be the leader, the president of the free world, because of how he reacts to things. Like the whole situation in South Africa, and he's over here like, okay, I get that
By
they're
the situation
losing
in
land.
South Africa, do you mean the
White farmers
genocide
being-
on white Christian farmers
being
from black Muslim communities?
Black Muslim communities and all that stuff going on over there. I understand that it's a terrible thing for people to lose their land, lose their livelihood that they've been living on for 40 years.
Well, to
But at the
lose
same
them
time,
under the precursor.
how did they
One second, Tivon,
come across that land?
to lose them under the precursor of what?
Race.
And
But at the
religion.
same time,
Race and religion.
is it religion though?
100%. White Anglo-Saxons.
And again, I hate that they bring it into the religion thing, but in the end, we know what it is. It is the race thing, because apartheid basically made it illegal to be black in Africa, South Africa.
Well, I
they
think
took the land.
Here's the problem.
They took the land. And it's not like it was 200 years ago with the Native Americans, because even still, they got casinos. You know what I mean?
I'm sure if you asked Native Americans, if
They
they
would
wanted
prefer more than a
if they
casino.
wanted a little bit of Silicon Valley, they'd trade all the casinos for it.
They got lands. They got reservation. You know what I mean?
You said a lot, and I think there's a value in everything that you presented. So I'm going to try my best to kind of one at a time that, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First, let's talk about Elon Musk specifically, because that's the low-hanging fruit. When you say something as...
My heart goes out to you.
Yeah, when you say something as simple as like, you don't believe him to be like an intellectual or a
I don't
wise
believe him
man.
to be a genius.
A genius,
Like
okay.
Kanye West. I feel like we did him like Kanye. Kanye's not a genius.
what
He's
if I-
just really good at what he does.
Well, what if I were to present to you an argument that I think both of them are geniuses? Both of them.
I could present one too. But
I think
like to
I think
hear it. Go ahead,
graduation.
go
I
ahead,
think
go ahead.
graduation, the album that Kanye West dropped when I was in high school, was one of the best pieces of music I've ever
Why I
listened
so
to.
vouch for Kanye.
Okay. Simultaneously, I think that as an entrepreneur, Tivon, I could tell you, it is so hard to get a business to the position where it's self-sufficient,
You're the
profitable.
richest man on the planet.
Yeah, but just because you have capital doesn't mean you can't.
No, I
spend
just mean
it
that makes it
unwisely.
genius though. Like that means like what
No,
he did
I don't
was good.
necessarily correlate to intellect to wealth because you can inherit wealth.
Sure.
And then it's a lot easier to make $1 million when you have $1 million. I think the person that came from nothing and made $1 million is much more intelligent than the person that had 10 million and made 100 million. Does that make sense? So like for at least at face value until I get to know
Until
that.
you know what the business plan was.
It depends. It depends on a lot of factors. And this is the thing
I know
I'm trying
chicks
to.
out here making hundreds of millions of dollars off their butthole. So
God bless.
God bless.
They gave him a butthole.
Punch in the air.
They gave Elon Musk the brain. My thing to you is, I don't disagree with some of the mindset and the fervency that you have in your thought. I disagree in the consistency of your thought, because on one flip of this coin, throughout this conversation, you've talked about nuance. You've talked about the variables that can play at things. Yet on some
Elaborate.
topics, okay, race, for instance, like we talked about the nuance of being proud in your race, but not necessarily diminishing the race of others.
Yeah.
I can be proud to be I can be proud to be a black man in America without diminishing the Albanian American from your perspective, vice versa from my perspective, right? I have pride in my Albanian heritage while I don't necessarily need to diminish you as a black man. This is nuanced thought. The same thought that you have here, I feel that you're not necessarily given to this broader context of an Elon Musk figure, but you could replace Elon with 100 different billionaires. And I think if the politics of the billionaire suited more to what you would vote for and align with, I think that you would see that your criticism of them would be a little bit more diluted. Because you said that $1 billion spent to mental health.
I'm not talking about donating. I'm talking about all this money that he's spending to shoot rockets into space and further the problem of. You ever heard of that thing where a piece of metal or scrap or satellite circles the planet so fast now it's like at 14,000, 500,000
call
miles
it
an hour?
space pollution.
Yeah, he's gonna make it to where we can't leave the planet.
I disagree.
You know what I mean? Eventually, safely. You know what I mean? Just
disagree
because
with
stuff's coming around and we have so much math coming out now.
I love you. I love you.
I know
on this one.
But
I
that's a
disagree
theory,
with you.
though, right?
It's a theory, but a theory is not based on
It's
fact.
happening right now, though.
You
There's
can make-
actual trash going around the planet. Old satellites that's going so fast that our actual space NASA takeoff rockets they have to account for.
Exactly.
If one of those things hits a astronaut or hits a satellite, boom, it's gone.
I agree and disagree with you at the same time. I agree with you that there's space pollution is a thing, and that satellites are the number of total volume
He's
satellites.
got so many satellites.
It's insane. People would be surprised because remember, it's not just Elon and SpaceX. It's the U.S. government. It's the Chinese government. It's the Russian government. It's any sort of first world nation that you think. They have at least 1,000 satellites in our sub-atmosphere before space. When I call sub-atmosphere, that's the stratosphere, the isosphere, whatever the spheres are. Forgive me.
Shoot as much stuff as you want into space as you want. But I'm just saying, you're literally blowing up money that you could use to make it better here on Earth
Tivon.
to get to Mars.
Tivon.
For what?
I'm gonna make an argument.
Why do you want to go to Mars?
No. Who are you to deduce what is important for one man to spend their money on?
A father.
Who are you? Okay.
I'm a father.
Okay.
And as a father, I would prefer that somebody who has made it to the point to where you will never go broke, your family can never go broke. I can confidently say, and a Christian, that it is your responsibility. And as a comic book reader, what did Uncle Ben say? With great power comes great responsibility. That makes you intelligent to me. Being able to improve your surroundings. He has more than enough of the means. But he would rather blow shit up to get to dead ass Mars than sit here and on his own platform degrade the black community. Even though it might be secondhand, he'd rather sit there and Twitter fingers instead of be like, what could be plaguing the black community to make them more violent? Because look, if we're going to be really real about it, and they always want to break down the statistics, and again, God rest his soul, the reason why, again, I keep looping back to this, people weren't sympathetic to the death of Charlie Kirk is because he was sharing unreal statistics. Like 55% of us are in jail. Like we make up 55% of the prison population. That's not true. We make up 38%. That's just a fake statistic that was up.
Do you think that maybe he was uncharacterized in one event, and that perhaps someone in the heat of the moment could be incorrect about something they say?
Again, I don't think anybody should be assassinated for something that they say.
No,
and I don't think that I think, and again, people might be mad at me for this, bro, but I just think
Tivon,
that
please speak freely.
He was someone that, in the sense, was not respectable to me, because instead of preaching how, okay, they're 38% of the prison population, how do we remedy this? He was preaching, oh, we have prowling blacks. They make up 55% of the population. But if we say that we're racist, making jokes out of it, you know what I mean? He was sitting there talking about how black fathers are the least involved in the home. He said they're 75% not in the home. Brother, we're 40%. We beat the capital.
Tivon, forgive me.
You're good. You're good.
We were talking. No. I love it. I love it. And I'm telling you this right now. I'm telling you this right now. I never censor anybody. Yeah. You can say whatever you want to say, but I want to now take this conversation away from what we're talking about right now, because I want to specifically talk about first the Elon Musk kind of conversation. However, if you don't mind,
because it's like the same. It's like the same thing to me, man. Kind of like how you're saying, like, what gives me the right to say what somebody should do with their money? I don't. If we're being really real, I don't have the right to tell you shit to do with their money. But as a person of the earth, as a human being, as somebody who has a soul, who is supposed to be of a higher power, or not even a higher power, a higher intellect, you should know what you're doing is fucking worthless. Like, it is worthless, bro. We're not gonna sit 6 months on a plane, on a jet, to go to Mars. Why colonize Mars? Earth is going to be here forever. It's going to be here forever.
We won't be
here
forever.
We will destroy our environment before we destroy Earth. And Earth will always be in a Goldilocks zone, to where life will have to adjust itself a few degrees and it will restart. We found fungi that lives in nuclear waste.
You're about to hate me.
Man, no, go ahead, brother.
And before I say this, I want you to know.
I will never hate you. You stop that.
But before I say what I'm about to say, I want you to know that I respect and admire you deeply.
I respect and admire you.
Everything you just said is incorrect. Let me start with the ladder and work my way up.
Yes, sir.
First of all, we will not always be in a Goldilocks zone. When this sun inevitably goes supernova, we will implode.
Billions of years down the line.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. I said
that's forever.
I also acknowledged that humanity will either.
This whole entire universe will implode on itself eventually.
Well, yeah, exactly. Okay.
Allegedly, Big Bang, boom. That's
fair,
what they say.
As far as
the
we know,
universe
physics
is expanding, string theory, and it'll collapse on each other.
No. String theory is not based on reality. As far as we know, as physics, as physicists, as far as we know in the science that is, to the best of our abilities, true, we will not exist forever. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to take a step back.
Just to correct that, yes, I understand. All that stuff will happen.
That's the semantics.
As a billionaire right now, you can fix stuff for the next 1,000 years of existence.
Tivon, is it his job to now, at this point in his life?
Yes, you've made it. You won the ticket. Yes, it is your responsibility to caretake the place that has birthed you.
In a country that you don't own?
No, the world. He's global now.
I disagree with that. I disagree with that.
Aid.
I disagree with that. What is a global aid when you say that? What does that mean?
Somebody who has the means to help enhance the human race's potential. And that's
when you say the means, forgive me.
No, you're fine.
When you say the means,
I'll be glad to explain it all.
My frustration comes not from you. My frustration comes from trying to coalesce this conversation. Forgive me.
No, you're fine, bro.
When you say the means, because I want to tackle the Charlie Kirk stuff, the race stuff, the socioeconomic stuff. I do, but let's first have this conversation about Elon.
Rest in peace to the young father.
Yeah, for sure. We all agree on that, and by the way, I do as well.
Yes.
But what I'm saying about Elon Musk is there seems to be a lot of hyperbolic language and a lot of nuance that is lost when you are now at this point in your life. Earlier in this conversation, you talked about how intellect is.
I'm gonna look up something, but I'm listening to you. Okay?
For sure.
I don't want you to think.
No. Believe me. You talked earlier about how the intellect of an individual is like to understand what you don't know, and then to outsource that to individuals around you within your umbrella to better navigate the waters around you as an entity, meaning a corporation, not-for-profit, LLC, whatever it is, right? Whatever that shape takes. My thing to you is you seemed to be in such alignment with me on certain endeavors. Mm-hmm. However, when we talked about the top echelon of individuals, me and you, even though we seem to see eye to eye on this micro level, at the macro level, I could not disagree with you more. And I'll explain why.
Yes,
Forgive
sir.
me. The reason why I explain why is, and I don't lord my entrepreneurship as like anything special. Tivon, look at
should,
me.
man.
Forgive me. Look at me.
Bro, achievement, the effort that you
Tivon,
put in to do things,
Tivon.
you should be proud of. And I'm
Everything-
getting to more and more understand that, brother.
Tivon,
That is the human
everything that
experience.
I've done, you could easily do had you not chosen fighting as your pursuit right now. If you decided to retire and you were afforded all this extra time, you could easily do what I do. That's why I say what I say. I'm really not special in any way, shape, or form. I'm really not.
I wouldn't say I could easily do what you
I think you could.
But I think with great practice,
I think you would be surprised.
repetition,
You could learn how to separate a man from their consciousness. I think you could learn other things. This is what I'm trying to say.
Thank you, man.
Why?
I
Because
appreciate it.
because no, Tivon, it's not a compliment. It's a reality.
it is a
I did it.
compliment. You might not take it. This is awesome.
My thing is, on the same framework, on the same basis that we kind of articulated our thoughts at the individual level, you seem to disconnect when it comes to this individual because you seem to have this perception that they have uncharacteristic capabilities separate from what we discussed earlier. But I would make the argument.
That's where the race thing comes in too, brother.
It has, can I make a comment?
Go ahead.
It has nothing to do with race.
No,
I'm
no,
talking about,
I'll tell you why.
Okay,
what
fair,
I was
but
saying.
for me right now, I'm strictly on economics.
Yeah.
The same truths that are available. If I told you that to make your first million is easier once you've, like, to make $1 million is easier after you have $1 million, is the same thing that I would say is like to make 100 million when you have 100 million. When you have $1 billion, it's easier to make $1 billion because capital builds upon itself. However, the same framework, the same articulation, the same nuance and problem-solving capabilities that allowed you this success cannot then be far gone to then do whatever it is that you deem, like you deem this to be $1 billion for mental health. Now, separate that $1 billion for feeding the poor, $1 billion for cancer research, whatever it is that the plight that you want to fight for. What I'm saying is, you can't say that someone's not a genius for accumulating the value of their wealth up until this point, because Elon Musk does come from the same ilk as us, whether you want to believe it or not. He got to this point somewhere, I can confidently say, because we're not the 1% of the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, you and I will never achieve, right?
Well, don't say that.
Oh, honestly, if you do achieve it, God bless. I hope
Hey,
you
brother.
do. I hope you do.
Anything is possible.
Fair.
Who said that?
But Kevin Garnett.
Impossible.
I'm hip. But what I'm trying to say though, Tivon, is, do you not feel a little bit of hypocrisy when you say that?
In what sense?
You acknowledge the human condition for autonomy, yet you give criticism to an individual because they
For
have
using their own
means.
autonomy with it? No.
Yeah.
By all means, shoot all these rockets into space. But at the same time, if you're going to criticize the livelihood that we're all living on as lesser than the 1%, people without the means that you have currently, that you're sitting here on your phone tweeting about, talking about crazy people getting out of jail because they're crazy. That's how the justice system works. Then we start reaching the line where I feel like it's less hypocrisy and more of you're not doing your job. No one's saying you can't still shoot shit out and go to Mars, brother. But you
give
know
$1
what?
billion?
Huh? Brother.
What if he gave $1 million?
Brother, listen. If you really wanted to get to space and you really wanted to create an entire society that was capable of surviving in Mars or on Mars inside of a spaceship for however many years to get to the other planets and beyond, you realize you need to train the populace. And you're letting the population suffer. You were literally inside of the government. You looked at the books. You see what's going on. You see how uneducated inner city kids are. You see how much crime's going on. You can look on goddamn TikTok and see these young black kids fucking shooting each other, holding guns up to each other's heads and shit like that. And your response to that is to shoot more fucking shit into space and to sit there and retweet online about how these fucking black dudes are getting out of jail because of a judge being shitty, instead of being a proactive genius like Dexter's Lab and going to the lab and literally going and fixing it yourself. Why not be like a Derek Zoolander and make a kid or a school for really smart people?
Why is it so small?
You know what I'm saying? Bro, literally in America, bro, like that's what I feel like is wrong here. Like, why are we not providing education on masses? Like, you talk about
Do you
people
think
not
we're
being,
not?
we're not providing free education like it should be. I know there's free education sources and there's places people can go and fill out stuff like that. I'm saying that it's hard to teach a druggie how to fill out paperwork. Okay,
you
it's
said
hard
druggie?
a druggie.
Druggie,
It's
sorry.
hard to teach a druggie how to fill out paperwork. People are on drugs. People are sick. People
whose
are
responsibility is that?
Whose responsibility
To
is that?
teach a druggie how to fill out paperwork.
Honestly, brother, and again, that comes down.
Because my question is this. My question comes to this. At what point is it society's problem, like a societal issue that we should all endeavor to kind of uplift and provide the opportunities? And at what point is it anecdotal evidence to where it's like the individual's response?
This is where it comes down to us being able to overcome the race thing that we were talking about earlier.
Tivon,
We're all the same.
Forgive me. I'm about to eliminate this variable from you. I didn't bring up race.
No. This is what I did.
I'm saying
I did.
societal.
No, I did.
I'm not saying black.
I did. No, I did. This is
Are
why.
there not? Are there not poor white people?
There are poor white people.
There's actually more.
That's why
Tivon,
I'm saying we need
there's
to
more
eliminate
white
the race.
poor people than there is poor black people. Now the percentages would dictate that there's more poor black people, but in terms of raw numbers, more white people in this country are hurting than more the numerical value.
60% of welfare.
More white people are hurting than black people.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not providing this. I'm trying to take race out of the equation because I believe that this is a conversation to have at actually a more macro level.
Yeah.
You can make the argument, and I would be somewhat sympathetic to certain variables regarding the African American community, but it goes back to my conflict of like what my family was able to overcome within a generation. But what I'm saying is there are systemic issues regarding humanity. Not all men are created equal. They are in the eyes of the Lord, but they're not in the eyes of everything before that, right? From judicial to physical. How tall are you?
6'3.5".
You're 6'3.5". A chiseled man. They can make a statue out of you. They can't do that out of me.
Yeah, they could.
Do I fault? No. Do I fault
the way that shirt's fitting on you, brother?
I appreciate you. Listen, this fabric's doing a lot for me. Do I fault you for that? No, I appreciate you for that. There is a world where we can live in where I can say
see how you appreciate humanity. Do you think Elon Musk appreciates humanity?
Do you think he doesn't? Truly. Do you think he doesn't appreciate humanity? Tivon, look at me, Tivon. You think Elon Musk does not appreciate humanity? To create Starlink.
I think that Elon Musk, I want to say this in a way.
Say it.
To where it doesn't sound super crazy. How do I say this?
Say it crazy.
I think he thinks he's better than humanity.
He is, Tivon.
Now we got a big disagreement.
Please.
You think he's better than the whole?
Yes, I think he's better than me.
No. Yeah.
I think he's better than me. I think he's smarter, more capable, more articulate, more everything than me. I think that he will substantiate and provide. Listen, I think that to my family, I'm the most important because I will provide for my daughter and my wife like no one else will. However,
how many kids does he have?
9, but he can afford it.
That was like 19.
But what I'm trying, God bless if he does. What I'm trying to say is yes, Elon Musk is better than you. He's better than me. He's better than Adam. He's better than 99.9% of the people that you've met. You want to know why? It has nothing to do with his wealth. It has nothing to do with his wealth. It has everything to do with what he's been able to achieve within his same time frame as us. Listen, you chose what you chose in your life. I chose what I chose in my life. He chose what he chose in his life, and let the dice lay as they fall, right? What I'm trying to say is, Tivon, if you're trying to ask me like at a human level, does he have more value? No, we're all created equal in the eyes of our Lord. I do believe in that. But if you're asking me socioeconomically to the prospects of humanity, if we're all created equal, no. He will have an everlasting footprint that you and I will not have. So yes, by virtue of that definition, he's better than both of us. And by the way, I put us both in that category for a reason. Black man born in this country, white man, foreigner, better than both of us. And it's not even a hard thing to articulate or to what's the word I'm looking for here? Not argue, but to describe.
Okay. And this is where I will have the civil discourse with you on what makes a better man. I think that my father was a better man than he was.
To you.
To everyone.
No, to you.
Do you know? But and
who is everyone?
Let me finish.
Forgive me.
Let me know you're fine.
Forgive me.
Because again, this is where we're going to disagree.
Yes.
You believe what he's done professionally, he's been able to accomplish through his business and where he's at and put himself at. again, you didn't say financially, but still financially where he is. I've met an actual righteous person, and I know everybody's dad is their hero and stuff like that, but I'm talking about my dad didn't drink. My dad made it to church. My dad hardly ever cursed, ever. You know what I mean?
He was the paragon of your life.
He was a paragon of life in general. He was literally the prime example of what a righteous man should be. Is Elon Musk, who denounces his own children, a righteous man? No. So I can't say that he's a better than me, because in the end, life is like a poker game. You can play with as much skill as you want to, but sometimes you need that luck to win, baby. And I think that poker is law. And again, like I said, we'll have that we're allowed to disagree. That's why you're my brother.
Forgive me. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I think you moved the goalpost.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with anything you said.
And
for your father, Tivon, my mom is also a similar ilk. If you asked me who's more important in my life, my mother or Elon, I'd say my mother. I'd say my mother over everybody.
That's
right?
what I'm saying.
But
Now imagine your mother with billions of dollars like Elon.
He wouldn't. She would. God bless my mom. She would not have done what Elon did. She wouldn't. She wasn't as intelligent. My mom, through the circumstances of her birth and her life, was so focused on the things that she did have control over, and that's why she did the most amount of good. It's hard. I want you to know that this is not easy for me to say, because I love my mother more than I love myself. She was better than me, Tivon. If you were sitting across from my mom,
that whole generation was better. Those were some killers. We couldn't do that.
In some respect, I agree.
We couldn't do that.
What I'm trying to say is,
I couldn't do that.
You are making the misconception of like attaching these virtues, which are virtues.
No, brother, but that's what I'm saying. I'm not. That's what makes us human. That's what doesn't make us AI. That's what makes us beautiful in the spectrum and different from the animals. If we can't separate our moral compass from what's going to be our moral interest, or not our moral interest, but our own interests, our own selfish desires, if we all succumb to wanting to shoot shit into space and go to Mars, we will never as a species progress. That is my point. I'm just saying he can literally heal the wounds, or at least die trying to. That would be a noble cause to do.
Do you think money alone could heal these wounds?
No. That's what I'm saying. You need to pay attention. That's why I said intelligence is the ability to put people in position who are going to pay attention. If I have all this money, there's
Forgive
no
me.
way.
I'm going to take a step back. I don't understand what the fuck you just said. So I'm going to ask for you to extrapolate.
I got you. Okay, so extrapolate. I said that I find intelligence to be the ability to put the people around you in the position to pay attention. If I'm a billionaire, if I'm Elon Musk, if I'm the richest man on the planet and I want to shoot shit in space and go to Mars, but I realize that I'm doing this. If I actually realized, because he claims he's doing this for humanity, right? If I actually realize...
Do you not think that he is?
No, and this is why I'm going to say that this... I'm not saying that he's not. I'm saying that he's going about it the wrong way, because why would you not try to enhance your seed? What's the point of sending the seed somewhere to plant if those motherfuckers are stupid? You're going to shoot a bunch of people of idiocracy to the plane. You're going to shoot a bunch of people who are racially divided. You're going to shoot a bunch of people who have never been to school, drug addicts and shit like that.
Can I present to you a separate argument?
Fix the soil before the plant grows.
Can I present to you a separate argument? How many people do you think are employed by Tesla, by SpaceX, by Boring Company, by his battery manufacturing, by his solar power manufacturing, and by his data warehouse manufacturing? How many people do you think, like within just the U.S., not necessarily considering everything outside of our borders, but just within the U.S., how many people do you think he employs?
500,000.
Do you mind Googling that? Thank you, brother. Because what I'm trying to say is, sometimes
that was a high number, 500,000.
No,
I'm gonna give him.
I hope you're
4,500.
Right. Listen, I hope you're right.
4,500.
Because I'll tell you this right now, brother, Tivon, I employ 6 people.
Yeah.
6. And I like to think, as an entrepreneur, I truly like to think that I'm like helping them, that like I'm providing to them a job. You know what I mean? Like I really do as a business owner. I could.
June 2024, Tesla alone employed 121,000.
All right, so Tesla alone employs
so
121,000. No, I think you might be close, because Tesla has more manufacturing capabilities than I think SpaceX and all that. So let's just say, for the argument, 500,000 people directly correlate their paychecks to a company that this man has produced. Okay.
How much do they get paid at Tesla?
What's the median income, not the average, please? Because remember, average is the total the total sum divided by the number of employees, where the median is the most common salary. Median is the greater context for measurement. It's where the most people get paid that sum of money. It's the
Okay.
most prevalent.
It says 2021 indicates the median pay was around
40,000?
For an individual.
Oh, he's paying them like broke boys.
Why? The median income for a household is 47.
Oh
It
man.
also says in 2023,
Well-
it showed a median salary of 140,000.
Oh, okay, there's a couple. I was about to say, there's no way you make 40,000 as an engineer.
1 second though. For sure you're
Yeah,
right. But
yeah.
1 second though. The median household income in the US is what? Was it 78,000?
Shit.
Forgive me, Adam. We got you working overtime.
I thought we were like at the poverty line.
What is the
It was
median?
40, but let's see.
No, that's the individual. Individual is like 44,000.
Yeah,
80,000. Okay. So if you double that, they're over the median income. 40,000, right? Or 44,000? 42,000. They're over the median income. Meaning if both people work at a company that Elon Musk employs, they're making more than the median average or the median income of Americans.
Enough to pay their taxes, go on vacation once,
That
and
you're
then
moving
die.
the goalpost again. You're moving the goalpost again. And the reason I say that
I'm
is
sorry.
no, the reason no, I'm glad you're saying this.
Yeah.
Because these are conversations people have, right? I'm not
How much
diminishing
is,
what
do you
you're
believe
saying.
in college? Do you think college is a waste
Do I
of money?
believe in college? Can you
Or you
expand
wanna-
your question?
There's some people who, like, I hate to bring up Charlie again, but he also vouched against college. He thought college was a scam.
I think
Do
for
you
the
think college
vast
is a
majority
scam?
of people, higher education is a scam. For the vast
So,
majority.
do you not believe
Meaning
that?
90% of people that go to college don't need their degrees.
So say I ran for president.
Okay.
And I ran for president under the just let me go all the way through
ahead.
the what is that called? My policies.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm running for president, right? And I want to get rid of property taxes.
I'm with, by the way.
I think that everyone should have. I believe in universal health care. Okay, everyone should have access to health care.
1 second. What does that mean? Meaning no
I
matter
mean,
what
if you-
decisions they've made in their life, we should pay for their health care?
Yes.
Including self-diagnosed things?
No. You
hey,
have to see a doctor.
I'm bipolar.
You got to see a doctor.
Tivon, I'm bipolar.
You gotta see a
I don't
doctor.
care what a single doctor says, Tivon, I'm bipolar.
Say you got arrested, right?
No,
And you
Tivon,
said-
Tivon, forgive me. I'm bipolar. I don't care what a doctor says.
But now look,
You're not providing me my health care, Tivon, because you want me to go to a doctor to
you're
prescribe
not
me
gonna
that I'm
get it.
bipolar.
The doctor didn't.
Then you're a
approve it.
bigot.
The doctor didn't.
You're a
approve it.
bigot.
That's just what I'm
That's
running on.
well, that's not universal health care,
That's
Tivon.
what I'm running on.
Well then, Tivon, you're not running on that. You're not running on universal health care.
Let me backtrack then.
Forgive me.
I agree that healthcare should be for everybody who goes and sees the doctor. I believe the doctor should be paid by the government and our taxes, and I believe the doctor should be able to prescribe. And the psychologist, I believe that psychology is a large part of it as well because we don't pay attention to mental health.
Is psychology tied to higher education?
It is.
A bachelor's degree, a master's degree, or a doctorate degree?
So my old coach Joe Metzger, who also has a band, shout out the Metzger band. He's
Forgive me,
actually has
I
a
hope
PhD.
you don't feel like I'm being confrontational. I'm genuinely
No,
asking
brother,
you questions.
you need to ask these questions, bro. You don't just get to spit a point. And
I just
then
don't want
not
you to feel like
elaborate
I'm-
on it. No. Like I said, I love our little discourse. It's awesome. So, like I said, my coach Joe Metzger, he also does like the strongman shit. He's a PhD in like psychology. You know what I mean? I don't know what that entails, but I know that he was one of the better educators that I've had in my life because somebody said that education is defined by what you hold on to after it's over. You know what I mean? I remember him from my senior year psychology class and the things that he taught me about the Freudian experience, how he used to prescribe patients cocaine and penis envy from women. And I remember about him talking about a video that we had saw about the natural response to different faces. Psychology in itself at that time was, well, I wouldn't say, it's experimental hypothesis because you can't cut the brain open and read the waves like that. You can read it via CAT scan, you can get the electrical impulse, but there's not a way to physically quantify how you feel.
That's why they call it a social science.
Yeah,
It is a science,
and psychology
but
and
it's a
social
social
sciences. Yeah, those are two things.
It's not measurable in the same way physics or chemistry is. Totally acknowledge that.
And that's the unfortunate thing about going to the psychologist and getting yourself leveled out, because you need to figure out the medication size you need, and that is an imperfect
Or
art.
if you need medication to begin with. My problem with here's my problem with like universal programs in general. And you can call me many things. I genuinely, in my heart of heart, don't believe that I'm conservative or liberal. I genuinely don't. If you ask me to
Me either. I don't. Yeah.
if you ask me, actually, Tivon, if I could be honest with you, you're very liberal.
Oh, okay.
You might not
I'll
think
take
it.
that.
You might not think it.
I'll
but
take that.
From what I gather, you seem to be very liberal.
But I love guns.
I don't. To be completely honest with you,
You're a liberal.
I'm not like I mean
libtard.
on the individual basis of certain topics, I might surprise you, right?
Yeah.
However, I do operate in a world where I'm understanding of the Constitution, our Bill of Rights, our amendments, where I think truly on an individual level, I think that everyone should pass an aptitude test along the lines of being able to get a driver's license to own a firearm.
Yeah.
But
I agree.
but our founding fathers, with their infinite wisdom, who created this empire, chose for the Second Amendment to be the right to bear arms. Do I agree with a lot of it? Yes. Do I agree with all of it? No. But what I'm trying to say
the
is
mental thing, the reason why that's not possible now is because it's so saturated. I would have been down with that 20 years ago. Now you can't.
I would make the
now you have
argument
to
that
have a gun.
societal norms
Everybody has to have a
are
gun.
dictated by
You
the
need a
social
gun.
sciences. And that's the problem, Tivon. These social sciences are so hard to quantify that the outcome that they produce is just so. During the Biden presidency, we had this epidemic of people that were coming out as
Joe.
there was this epidemic of people that were coming out as trans. Within the first year.
Though?
Was there though is
That's what I'm saying. That's the machine, brother.
we're saying the same thing.
They've been around forever.
But what I'm saying is, Tivon,
Trannies have been here forever.
Tivon, we're gonna take a small break because I have to pee. But what I'm saying is the same propaganda that led little kids to think that they were trans is the same propaganda that I think you might be feeding into.
Yeah, don't you
I
feel
go
like that
I go
experience
back
is
to my
rich?
listen. I've never not called myself a hypocrite. I know that I am a hypocrite. The reason I'm a hypocrite is because there's two truths. I go back to my thing of there's no solid truth. There's two truths. There is something that has worked for me, and that multiple things can work for multiple people. So the thing that worked for me might not necessarily work for everybody. That's why I stand behind my comment where I say 90% of degrees are useless, and that you could easily just go into the workforce, and it's a precursor, which creates one of the things that I think the government should do is education.
Okay, but educate them on how to get into the workforce.
No, I don't think you need education on the workforce.
Like
I think
electricians.
I think it's the workforce's job to educate you. Did you know anything about Streamlabs or vMix when you got hired here, or did I teach you in 30 minutes?
You taught me in 30 minutes, but it's a kind of a different conversation. He's talking about like a skilled trade. This is not.
What if I told you the majority of the skills and trades could be taught in a day? The majority. The majority. Heating and cooling, majority, one day. Plumbing.
You know that's what I do.
Plumbing. Could you teach someone how to do it in a day?
No.
No. Could you teach them the basics, and then after that experience?
Hell no.
I disagree with you 100%.
Do you know why you couldn't teach
Go
somebody
ahead.
in a day? There's a reason why. Because that's why it's illegal for you to not have a plumbing license.
Not what I said. Not what I said. Not what I said. To get credentialed by a higher entity, that's one thing. I'm talking about, could you teach someone the bare minimums of what you do in a day?
Because you got to think about it, brother. Like, what are they doing? Putting a stack in a house? Are you going to teach them how to put the grade at the right angle so that the shit goes down the right slope?
No,
Are you
you
going to
teach
teach them how many
Tivon.
fixtures go on to
Tivon.
certain copper lines? What size the lines need to be? Pressure intervals?
Everything you just said is experience. What I'm saying is high level. At a high level, I can teach you how to do this job in one day, and then after that, you will learn. I'm going to stand on this hill until I die. I think that we would be better served as a country if the majority of people got out of higher education and went into the skills, into work in general, and that more of the education process of labor was bestowed upon the entities that employed that labor. Because I went to school for 4 years.
On Elon Musk?
I'd work for Tesla if he'd hire me. I don't think I'm smart
I mean,
enough.
to educate, would you put the responsibility, like you said, the workforce?
Yeah.
on
But they
him to
do.
educate them?
But they do. Every job. How many jobs have you had? How many individual jobs have you had?
Well, let's just say I've had since 16. I've had the same China King job, so I never got fired from there. But in between that, I probably had about 18, 19. Right?
Okay.
A lot of jobs.
How many jobs have you had?
10.
10. I'm 30. I'll be 33 in December. You want to know how many jobs I've had? 5. 5 jobs. In all 5 of those jobs, they taught me how to do the job. I came in there with some prerequisites: critical thinking, the aptitude for the positivity to learn. You know what I mean? But they had to teach me how to do what it is that they wanted me to do. Now, did I need to have some precursors? And this is the tough part, is like, you asked me the question of if I think college is a scam. As it exists, yes. Yes.
For sure. Having to pay hundreds of
unapologetically,
thousands of dollars.
yes.
Yes. That's why I said it should be free and paid
Do
for
I
by the
believe?
government.
I agree up until a certain point. I think that everything that we give to people needs to start coming with a contract. So I'll give you an example. If you wanted SNAP, if you wanted EBT, if you wanted all these other things, low cost affordable housing for people, I think it needs to be like with a contract that says that you will do everything that you can to better the U.S. society, nation, country as a whole, because we're giving you this right now. These government handouts are like one way. Here, oh, you're poor, here's money. Oh, you're a single mother, here's money. And
Is it one way though?
Yes.
Because again, somebody was
100%.
talking about how the SNAP benefits actually help people who, because think about it, who's spending the money, or who's receiving the money that's getting spent from the SNAP benefits.
You want to know who the
You know what I'm
majority
saying?
is?
Like the
You want to know who the majority is?
Like Walmart.
No, you want to know who the majority is?
Who?
Illegals.
Illegals receiving SNAP benefits.
You want to know why?
Why?
There's no precursor for citizenship for these programs. It's all based on income. Who has the highest propensity to not get hired? Illegal immigrants.
Okay. and
Google
now-
this. I'm
look,
I'm
look,
I'm,
look.
I'm I'm genuinely not talking out of my ass on
No,
this
no,
one.
no, no. I know you're not. We wouldn't talk out of your asshole, but just follow me on this and say it doesn't make sense. Okay. So the whole thing with the illegals and people talking about kicking the illegals out of the country, illegals have been here this entire time. I feel like we're kind of backtracking ourselves by kicking them out because, again, you're getting rid of low-wage labor. A lot of these farmers, like we were talking about earlier, who are getting poorer, you can't pay a guy $8 an hour to work all day on a farm anymore.
Tivon.
Sure, you're not supposed to do that because it's not humane.
Tivon,
But-
do you see the irony in a black man speaking for
I
slave
know,
labor?
I know, brother. I know,
you see
brother.
the irony in
I know. But look, here we are talking about the SNAP benefits, though, kicking people out of their homes and then people not being able to provide for their kids. Again, it's a vicious
If
cycle.
you're kicking them out of their homes, is that their homes? Do they own it?
If they've been there for
Are they renting?
20 years and
Tivon,
you've
are they renting?
established yourself.
Tivon, are they renting?
Again, there's different cases
Tivon,
abroad.
it's a simple question, yes or no.
I
Are they
don't
renting?
know. I don't know. Because look,
If they own their
if
homes,
you're
am I kicking them
illegal,
out of their
you don't
home?
have a social security number, right?
Yes.
So you're probably paying cash. So you're, again,
No, not necessarily.
paying
you
the
can, you can make
landowner
it.
in
You
cash.
can make a bank account without a social security number.
But you're paying through something that has been, of course, depending on your employer, probably not taxed under whatever it is. You know what I
100%
mean?
is taxed. You can pay taxes.
So
as an
you're
illegal
saying
immigrant.
that illegal aliens pay taxes?
100% they do. What does that mean? Does that mean that they're afforded citizenship because they pay taxes?
Yeah.
I could not disagree more.
Yeah, man, they work.
You come over here and pay $1 in taxes, and now you're a citizen.
They
Is that how
work,
that
yeah.
works?
I mean, but it's not like they're
They
living
work,
good.
but what do they work? What jobs do they do?
Black jobs. No.
They don't. Black people don't do these jobs.
Remember what they said? You said illegals.
Tivon.
They said illegals are taking black jobs. Now,
They are.
when they say that, it's like,
They are.
oh, they're taking labor work. They're taking jobs that are more available for people who don't have higher educational options. And now, in the same breath that you're saying that,
Hold up though. Options are different from executables. You can have the option for higher education that you don't take charge of. That doesn't mean shit. I didn't have to go to college,
yeah,
but I did.
yeah.
Okay, I had the option to, but I could have easily not gone. Does that mean some illegal should take my job because I didn't go?
How would the illegal take your job? Though?
Because I'm low level intellect labor. I'm easily replaced. You want to know how I know this?
After college, you're easily replaced.
90%. Yeah, that's why I go back to my thing about 90% of degrees are
I have
useless.
to disagree with you there, brother,
Tivon,
because
I love you.
I know
I
an
love
illegal
you,
immigrant.
Tivon.
No, hear me out. An illegal immigrant would not have been able to do the job that my mom had to do when we were coming up.
I think
Do
you'd
you
be
make
surprised.
sense?
I think you'd be
They wouldn't
surprised.
have gotten hired.
I think you'd be
That's not how it works.
surprised.
Again, that's why I think the whole thing on DEI is kind of like people out here tripping on the
Tivon,
transgender
forgive me.
community.
I want to take a step back because we've been
You're
doing
good,
this
you're
this
good.
whole
But
podcast.
yeah.
I want to, before we get to DEI, because I have a thought process on that. I want you to know also this, that I understand the perspective of the individuals that disagree with me on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But forgive me, as a first generation immigrant who then went to school here, assimilated here. My wealth is afforded to me because of this land, and I have reverence for it, but I'm not lost upon it, okay? What I'm telling you is, yes, everything you're saying as a detriment, I'm telling you, yes. I've automated people's jobs away. I have directly, through my actions, caused people to lose their jobs. I don't feel bad about it. Those jobs should never have existed. Or at the point, they should have existed up until the point the automation process existed to replace them. Because what is a company? What is a company?
A company in what regards? Because when
What
you
is
say-
a company?
I feel like people
It's an entity that exists in order to what?
make money.
No.
They exist to
That's
make
a
money.
That's a company needs to make money in order to sustain itself. But what is a company? A company is an organization that exists in order to fulfill a service, good, or need.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that service, good, or need could be amplified by increased profitability, then resulting in more R&D, more allocation of capital in other aspects other than there's operational costs and capital expense. There's OPEX and CAPEX. OPEX is the money that I need to spend in my company in order to operate, in order to sustain myself. CAPEX is the money that I put in to return money. The more you can increase CAPEX, the more you can decrease OPEX, the better your company
But
will
do you
be.
see what you're doing, man?
Go ahead.
You're putting the fiscal price on it again. And
Everything comes to economics,
You're
Tivon.
making again. and
Everything comes to economics.
That's what I'm saying. If we are going to quantify it and see how it all wraps into a little bow.
It's economics.
If you really want to quantify intelligence, are you going to look at the economic numbers? Are you going to look at the numbers and say, these are the numbers? Because look, that's what, again, wrapping it all the way into the ball. It's perfect that we ended up here back on economics. Because like you said, you would automate things and not feel bad about it. That's the same reason these people feel this way and talk down on old boy, because he was sitting here putting everybody into the same ball because the numbers say so. His numbers say so. Then you're out. You're not allowing yourself the opportunity to see what can be. And when you do that, when you put everything in shades of black and white, when you say, okay, well, I'm going to automate everything here because it's going to upgrade output. Okay, now I have an argument for that. Just like you said, there's an argument for everything. Now that you've done that, you've made more people poor. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't.
You've made.
No,
people,
I haven't. Tivon, I disagree with that comment.
But I'm just saying, like, when you're out of a job, you don't have money coming in. You know what I mean? Whenever you fire
Should
somebody,
your job exist because it can be automated? I shouldn't automate it.
we can automate everything. You can automate
Well, doesn't
pilots.
automation-
You can automate drivers.
doesn't
You can
automation
automate
directly
fighters. You can make robots fight in the ring and automate that shit.
I would make the argument that eventually we'll be outsourcing that as well.
You know what I mean?
What I'm saying is,
and that's why I
should
say
I
we
not-
need to separate our fiscality from our soul. Us as human beings, we need to be able to look at the data. Because look, if I'm looking at just raw data, they're like, oh, well, there's millions of sexual predators who are white. That means I shouldn't leave my kid around a white guy. That's not true.
Tivon.
That's not true.
Tivon, I don't.
What?
I don't leave my kids around white people.
I don't leave my kids around anyone.
Anybody.
That's my point. About anyone.
That's my
Anybody.
point too, though.
Yeah.
It's like the anecdotal and the
We
evidential.
take the subcultures of every culture and have created a way to demonize each other, and I just don't think it's genius of anyone.
It's
who
not
can't see-
demonizing, Tivon, with forgiveness. It is not to demonize someone to look at abject reality and to deduce by the broad
what's the point?
context to educate truth.
So are we saying that I'm just violent? That's what I'm saying. When you sit there and tell me that black people make up this percentage
60%,
of the jail,
60% of the violent crimes are produced by 13% of the population.
Species.
No, you know what I would say? That 60% of the people that look like you, 60% of the people that look like you, that even though 13% of the people of this nation look like you, there is a above average chance that people that look like you will produce violent crime. Is that what you're asking me?
That's
The answer to that question is yes, by
yes.
the numbers.
And do you know why you want to say that instead
No. The answer to that question is yes, by the numbers.
Okay.
Now, do I believe that when I invited you onto this podcast today, did we have security here? Do I have a gun on me, dude?
No.
No. Why?
Because I am one of the good ones.
No.
No.
I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because we have eliminated nuance in our conversations with individuals. Going back to my previous conversation, I knew that you were a fine guy. Why? Because Mop spoke highly of you, because Drew spoke highly of you, because Sean spoke highly of you. Before I even knew you, the context of the people around me spoke highly of you. So all the numbers would dictate that you probably would have been a violent person. By the way, I had Montreal James on, who by the numbers would be equal to you, but I bet you by the metrics that I've heard from even the people that we are mutually exclusive to, I've had people that we are friends with tell me don't have them on the podcast.
But do you see my point, though, that I'm making with the numbers?
No, I'll tell you why.
This is the point I'm trying to make.
Go ahead.
Why are we looking at these numbers in such a negative, broad view?
Because they're facts.
They're facts. That
Yes.
makes sense.
That's why we look at them
as a
negatively.
genius, you look at these numbers and you can't take your morality to make these numbers better instead of pushing the narrative that all they're going to do is try to hurt you.
I am afforded the luxury of giving you nuance because we know people. Like, we know people. If I saw you on a dark alleyway coming towards me and my family, a tall, buff, black guy, you better believe I would hold him closer to me.
Oh, man.
You better believe.
Oh, man.
If I didn't know who you were, yes.
What about Alex Pereira? He walking up on you and
Alex Pereira? Yeah, I would do the same thing with him.
What about Yao Ming?
Yeah, I would do the same thing for him. A bigger guy than me that perceives. But this is the problem. This is the prejudice of men.
I just think it adds prejudice when you just sit there and you go on a podcast all day and
Go
you
ahead.
talk about these numbers and you're just like, they're black and they're prowling and they're this and that. And George Floyd deserved to die because he was on fentanyl and all.
Tivon,
Not you. No.
I've never said any of these things.
I'm
Okay.
not you. I'm not saying you individual.
forgive
I'm
me.
using this as an example of what X has become, what Elon Musk has allowed X to become. Again, people are going to speak whatever. And actually, no, people are going to say whatever they want. I'm not going to put that in Elon. My bad. Put that on their own box. Racism and all that shit, they're going to be as racist.
Do you think
as
it's
they want
racist for me to say the thing I said?
What do you mean?
When
That
I
you
said,
think
when
that
I
we're
said,
violent?
when I said, no, that's not what I
Yes.
said. When I said that if I watched, we're in a street and it's dark and it's my wife, my
Listen.
daughter. One second, let me finish
You're
this.
good. You're good. Go ahead.
And I saw you, Tivon Taylor, but I didn't know who you, Tivon Taylor, was. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. Let me add some paradigm to this.
You're good. You're good.
If your pants were sagging, if I didn't think you had a weapon on you, if you presented yourself a certain way, that has nothing to do with race. That has everything to do with culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would I think or suspect a certain thing? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm tired of people saying that they wouldn't do it. By the way, Tivon, you do the same thing.
Okay, but look.
Even with your own kind.
Here,
Even with your
for
own
sure.
kind.
Look, this
So
is
why
why
is it okay?
I would say it's
why
racism.
is it okay when you do it and I don't do it?
This is why I say that it's racist.
No, hold up. Answer my question, then go ahead.
My bad.
Why
What
is it
do we
okay?
do?
Why is it okay when you prejudice against other people? I'm not even saying black people.
Oh, what? When I prejudice
When you
against black
prejudice
people,
against people,
I don't prejudice against anyone.
Not even against. I'm not
prejudiced
I
against
don't
anyone.
agree with that. I
I'm
don't
not
believe you.
prejudiced against anyone.
So you're walking
I'm
with your
1,000.
kids. You're walking with your kids, and you see some less than reputable people. They could be Mexican. They could be white. Whatever.
It can be anyone.
You don't hold them closer.
I do.
Okay, so then you
They're
do prejudice.
people.
But that's what I'm trying to say, brother.
Like that's the
doing
thing.
the
I don't
same
think
thing.
I don't think if I see a group of white people, you know what I'm saying, at one time, and then a group of Mexican people, and then a group say that I say a group of black people.
I'll expand on that. If I see a bunch of white people with their pants sagging, tattoos, and all this other shit, fuck yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Because this is what I'm trying to get to. It's not racial. I didn't say a black Tivon. I said if I saw a tall, black, buff, all these other guys, and the nuance of like your pants are sagging and all this other stuff, indicating culture. If you're tall, black, buff, and you have a fucking what do they call the old nerd stuff? Whatever, the pocket protector in your collared shirt. I'm not thinking a fucking thing. But if I perceive you to be a possible violent offender, yeah, dude. Because here's the thing: the other variable is the fact that I'm a man. I have people to protect. I don't bestow protection upon my wife and my daughter. That's my responsibility. So you better fucking believe that I'm prejudiced as a motherfucker when I'm out and about.
So look,
when I go down to the city, I want you to know this. I want everybody to know this. I do not go down to the city without my gun. That is the one time I bring my gun everywhere I go. Wash Ave, Soulard, or whatever, I'm bringing my gun. Why?
because there's crackheads about.
Crackheads, but are crackheads black, white, Asian? No,
they're everybody.
It's less than reputable people.
Yeah.
My problem with prejudice is prejudice has been something that we've evolutionarily used in order to sustain our life.
Okay, so
We've been prejudiced
you
to
say
protect
that
us.
you're prejudiced, right?
I am.
Okay, so listen. Now, when you ask me,
Go ahead.
do you think that I'm racist for that?
Go ahead.
I love you. I don't think you're a racist, hateful person. But by definition, if we can look up the definition of racism, which I have here, it says, do you know what the first word is in the definition?
Prejudice.
Prejudice.
Yes.
Prejudice, discrimination, or antagonism by an individual, community, or institution against a person or people on the basis of their membership in a particular racial or ethnic group, typically one that is minority or marginalized. Who is
that
minority?
exclusively? Hold up, hold up.
Of the country,
Hold up.
African American.
Is that exclusive? Is that exclusive?
No, it's not exclusive.
Okay.
Because again,
But here's the
Mexicans
thing I'm saying,
are
though.
the minority as well.
Did I say that black was a variable or black was the variable?
It was a variable.
It was an A variable.
A variable.
A variable. Why? Because 13% of my population causes 60% of the violent crimes. And that is a stat that is true that I know of. Now, would I say that I would only prejudice black people? No. I would prejudice a Hispanic man. I would prejudice a white man. I would prejudice a Asian man that looked like he was in the Yakuza or whatever. If he had a bunch of fucking dragon tattoos, I'm like, oh, steering clear from that motherfucker. That's what I'm saying.
Subcultures. We were talking about that. My boy Ron, he's an older gentleman.
Shout out Ron.
Yeah, shout out Ron, dude. We were talking about subcultures, and that's what I really hate. That's what, again, going back to the intellect, being able to separate subcultures. Everybody knows that all of these subcultures, aka the sagging pants, the people out here talking about shooting up old block, selling drugs, the environment, neck tattoos, all that bullshit. Even though neck tattoos are cool because it can be artistic in certain ways, but if you get something here like a goat, you're a throat goat forever. But I digress. All that stuff is a subculture.
I didn't disagree. I just didn't say it.
And for people to sit there and to quantify an entire race of people and say
That's not what I'm doing.
No. But it kind of is.
No.
Because,
That's not what I'm doing.
Because like you said, if you see a tall black gentleman, I could be a doctor.
Correct. Did you dress like one?
But again, is it my culture to have to?
It has nothing to do with what you perceive to your reality to be.
You know what I mean? Like, look at my chain. You see the chain?
Yeah, I think it looks great.
You see the diamond rings?
I think it looks great.
These are fake.
Well, they look great. They look great.
Thanks, bro.
But let me explain to you from my perspective. If I went out the house in a 3-piece suit, how do you think I would be presented or accepted by people?
In Western society,
Yes.
you are a successful businessman.
Now, if
you
I
have
went
your
out-
stuff together.
if I
in
went-
Western society, if you go out with no black tee, saggy pants, and a 50 cap, they're gonna perceive you as a thug
Why?
because that is something that they have been trained by the media to believe.
Or maybe, Tivon, just maybe.
I wear white tees.
Or maybe, Tivon, just maybe
I
that
sag
people
mine.
that commit violent crimes that don't have economic prosperity don't own 3-piece
You
suits.
can't commit a violent crime with sagging pants.
I agree with you 100%. I agree with you 100%.
You gotta be able to move. I'm just kidding. There's definitely been people with
I'm with
sagging
you, I'm with
pants
you, I'm
here.
with
You
you.
know what I mean?
I'm
though?
not convicting
the
these
real
people.
violent crimes, the real criminals.
1 second.
I don't believe that white people are pedophiles.
Tivon,
I can't say that.
I think-
I can't say that I can't say that I'm not leave my kid at this daycare because 60 or 55% of the fucking child rapes and stuff like that. I just can't because I'm not prejudiced like that. I'm not.
Tivon,
I just can't.
It's not that I am naturally prejudiced. It's that the circumstances that provided to me correlate to my evolutionary biology that I have to react to certain things certain ways. Perceived by my reality. Perceived by it. Perhaps it's not the truth.
And that's why I say he's not a genius, because a genius would realize that you are further perpetuating a false reality.
It's the truth, Tivon.
You're not fixing the reality. It's not the
It's
truth.
not my
It's
responsibility
not
to
a
fix it.
truth. It's not
Tivon,
a
it's not my
truth.
responsibility to fix
Because
it.
you can say you commit 60% of the violent crimes, but then you never bring up how many percent of the exonerations. You know what I mean? Like, you can say that they did these crimes, but they never say how many people are found guilty. And then you want to focus on the people that get out of jail who commit violent crimes or
Can I
reoffend.
present to you a different argument that I think is more strong to what you're trying to propagate? That the justice system is in proportionately more severe towards black people. If you were it is. But if you were to justify that, that would hold more merit than what you're trying to justify right now.
What do you mean it's the same thing?
I think that if people look a certain way, I will prescribe them with certain characteristics. That's what I'm saying. That is evolutionary biology. I do not prescribe to the thought that if Irenia's, this is a quote that is super racist, but it is true.
Up my alley.
It is super racist, but it's true. If Irenia Zarutska was more racist and did not want to sit in front of a black person, she'd be alive today. That is a fact. If she didn't sit in front of that guy, she'd be alive today. If she was a little bit more racist,
is a fact?
One second. Let me just finish this.
No, go ahead.
If she was a little bit more racist and she thought, I don't want to sit in front of a big black guy, she'd be alive today. Now, we can prescribe all the negatives to that, and I'm willing to do so. No one should think that way. I don't think it's healthy for society to think that way. But the abject reality of that nuanced interaction is the truth. Now, let me flip it.
Flip it.
If you're a black man and you see an incel white person, you have the right to be scared of them at a school. I flip it the same way. If you see an incel white person who's insecure about themselves and is very violent, if you're a black person or a white person or whatever, you have the right to be prejudiced against them and think that they're going to shoot up a school. I believe in that as well.
So I want to hear you say, I believe that my child is in danger around white men.
I think my child is in danger around, what is the population density of male and female? Because I have a daughter.
I know, man.
Any man that my daughter is around, she is in potential danger of.
Disproportionately, though. Like, say your daughter got dropped in the hood or dropped in the suburbs.
In the hood or the suburbs? She's much more in danger in the hood. 100%. Not even a close second. In the hood. Washington Ave, St. Louis on a 9 p.m. versus Clayton, Missouri at 9 p.m. I'm choosing Clayton 10 times out of 10.
And now statistically, you're not supposed to.
Yeah, but I'm telling you what reality is.
Your reality, your moral reality, not what the numbers say. Where are more white people located? In the suburbs.
In Clayton.
So
that's what I'm saying.
Statistically, if we're going to do the statistics game, then I would not. In the hood where the black people have to live, she should be safer from sexual assault.
Are you talking about? Do you honestly believe that? That a white girl? Hold up, because I'm gonna imply race.
I don't believe that. That's why I don't believe we are inherently violent.
Do you think
that's why I can't accept the statistic?
Do you think that a white girl in the hood?
No, that's my point.
Do you think that a white girl in the hood
point, though,
is safer than in Clayton? In Washington Avenue, for those that don't understand, St. Louis City, like the middle of St. Louis City is Washington Avenue. It's the directing road that connects to some of the bridges that correlate towards Illinois.
Okay,
Washington Avenue.
You're taking my point.
Go ahead.
And you're making it, again, black and white.
No,
and
I'm
not
saying,
going for the nuance I was making, brother. Again,
do white people live in Washington
Don't
Avenue?
try to common sense it, because common sense would indicate that what I am saying is from the numbers. You see what I mean?
What do the numbers dictate? Forgive me.
Here, look. I'll look it up.
Please
exactly the number.
Please do.
Because I don't want to say anything wrong.
No, I appreciate your...
And I just know, because, again, I look at... And all of it's bullshit to me, first of all. All of it's bullshit.
I think a lot of it is based in reality. But
it's based in reality. And here,
by the way, can we both acknowledge one thing?
Yes, sir.
We both acknowledge one thing. I'm not a racist. Are you a racist?
Hell no.
Okay. I want you to know, Tivon, please, for a second, just
I know you're not a racist.
Okay, I'm just saying. Have I ever led you to believe that I think lesser of you? Okay, so when we have this conversation, because a lot of this is going to be lost in nuance in people, but I want to have the honest conversation. I want to be able to speak honestly and truthfully. That I don't feel safe in Wash Ave, and I need to bring my gun. from anecdotal evidence, not even the FBI and the DOJ numbers, just from whatever I've observed within my 32 years of life until December. So I acknowledge what it is that you're trying to say while simultaneously trying to present to you an alternative viewpoint, not diminishing your lived experience, but to try to provide perspective where you possibly might not have had.
My bad. Say that last part again.
Perspective that you may have not had.
Okay.
Let me ask you this, if you don't mind me asking. What do you think is the most divisive attribute in America today? If you were to, like, say, race, gender, politics, like, what do you think is the most divisive attribute today?
The most divisive attribute
Today.
and that's why I said earlier when we were talking about, remember how you said race is diminished, like the whole thing? It's race.
You think race is still number one?
Is still number one. Because in the end, it's kind of like you were saying. I can't say white power because I'm going to look like a racist. People who are sitting here supporting I understand wanting to get immigrants documented. I'm with that. Making them make sure that they have to pay their fair way. I am not with separating families. I'm not with kicking people out of the country. I'm not with that shit at all.
Okay.
If anything, it just shows a lack of effort, the lack of willing to give money for more time and effort to go ahead and document these people.
Forgive me.
You can pay people to find these people. What's your name? Juan Estevez? Something. You owe this. You better show up to work here, or you will be deported.
Tivon, in this aspect, you're actually taking the lesser intellectual perspective of, like, saying separating families. The problem is we have two diametrical situations here. We are simultaneously telling people that if you're here illegally, you cross the border, the first act you took into this nation is to come in here unwanted, uninvited, and then if you propagate yourself, if you have children here, they are legal. And then we say, that we don't want to separate families. This is the problem.
We have another moral disagreement on what America is.
Okay.
So my dad, he fought for this country. My grandfather fought
God
for this
bless.
country. My entire family has fought for this country.
I want you to know that.
From my
God
cousins,
bless.
my uncles. I'm actually one of the few people who hasn't served in the military. My mom was actually going to go into the, she didn't serve in the military because she got a better job at a corporate, everything like that, worked her way through college and all that. And with that being said, you know what each one of those guys ideologically believed and would have died for this country is that this is a safe haven for all. This is a place for everyone. This is a place for freedom. This is a place where you can be any creed, color, religion, Muslim, white, black, as long as you don't tread on the individual rights of anyone else around you, as long as you're not sitting here trying to, that's it. Don't tread on anyone around you. That's it. Point blank, period.
Okay.
This should be the safe haven against the gangsters, against the dictators.
What are the laws of our land,
against
Tivon?
Poverty.
What are the laws of our land? Can you come to this country uninvited?
Everyone else did.
Tivon.
Everyone else did.
Tivon.
Everyone else did.
Who's everyone else?
The laws of the land.
My family didn't.
The laws of the land dictate from.
My family didn't. My mom and dad fled communist Albania to Greece and lived in Greece for 4 years until we got our papers to come to America. So when you say everybody else did, with sincerity and love, fuck you.
Yeah.
My family didn't. My family came here legally. They did it the right way.
How long did it take them to get in the country?
4 fucking years.
So
after they fled to get into the country, how long did it take me to get my citizenship? 10 years.
Where were they staying respectfully to
Florida
for the 4 years?
Florida for
while they were waiting for their citizenship.
Florida for 2 years. Missouri for the next 8.
So if you stay, if you stay in an Adobe in Mexico,
Adobe Casa, specifically the road.
If you're being actively pursued by drug lords, if you're being actively pursued by, I don't know, let's say the Zimbabwe, what's going on in their slavery in Africa and that nation, say that you're running away from them.
Asylum seeker.
Yeah, an asylum seeker. You think where should I stay? What should I do? I have to wait 4 years here?
Do out of curiosity.
I have to stay? Should they stay 4 years in that situation?
I think that if you are crossing the border in terms of asylum seeking, you have to adjudicate that properly. I'm all for it. If you're fleeing from persecution of religion and all this for your life, I'm with it. Now, my question
So how can you say fuck me?
My question is,
when that is exactly
No.
what I am striving for you to
One
understand,
second,
my brother. It's not always, I just want to go to America because I think it would be cool.
I'll tell you why.
Sometimes it's, I got to get
because
the fuck out of here.
Because you made the comment that everybody else did.
Oh, no, and I was going to elaborate on that.
Okay, I'm just saying that, forgive me, because
I still stick by that statement, too.
This is somewhere
everybody else did.
I'm a little sensitive on this one.
I know,
because
I know.
this is
And
my lived
respectfully,
experience.
you see how you just told me?
Yeah.
You see how you just told me my family? My family came here because they had the ability to go to Florida and wait for their documentation and stuff like that.
No. We lived in Greece.
Lived in Greece.
We lived in Greece.
Greece is great. Greece
by the
is
way,
great,
you can make the argument that the Greek politicians and all that should have evicted us. They should have. We came to Greece illegally. We were legally able to leave Albania because Albania at the time was a communist. No, hold up though, because there's context into this. We won the immigration lottery. Albania was still a communist state when we left Albania. We left Albania, but we were not necessarily afforded the luxury to live anywhere else. Now we lived in Greece.
What's the lottery mean?
Welcome to communism.
No. What do you mean by that?
When I say lottery, they draw a number and they say, "Oh, Tivon, you live in Albania. You can move out."
So you got lucky.
Yeah.
In the end of it all,
oh my God.
I'm just saying, respectfully, you could say we went through this whole process, but you just said it. You won a lottery. There's people out there who aren't winning the lottery.
Yeah, Tivon, there's a lot of people that aren't born in communism, Tivon.
But there's people born in squalor. There's people born with nothing.
I would choose squalor over communism 100 times out of 100.
And again, I would have to disagree with you there because have you ever been to the point where you haven't worn shoes and walked around in dirt all day?
Tivon, I was born on newspapers because my hospital that I was
born in. So you would want to stay in that situation for 4 years?
That's why we fled.
You want to stay there?
That's why we fled.
So why do you think they're fleeing to America?
This is what I'm trying to say, Tivon. We're saying the same thing, but you're trying to attribute different characteristics to me. Let me explain. Yes, you are. I was born. I was told the story of my birth. It was December 7th, 1992. The hospital that I was born at did not have electricity because of communism. They didn't have blankets for me. They were sure that I was going to die. And I had a lot of complications after in my early years from asthma and all these other things because of my upbringing, because we lived in communism and squalor. What I'm telling you is I would choose 10 times out of 10 being the poorest amongst Americans over the richest amongst Albanians. 100%.
Amen.
100%. Now, what I'm saying is shortly after my birth, against all odds, I survived. Thank God. Mm-hmm. Literally, thank God.
Literally.
We won the immigration lottery, which is chose at random because when the communist regime in Albania fell, they didn't want a mass exodus out of the country because that would leave a power vacuum where other countries could come and invade and own the territory. So they did a lottery. There were a lot of people that won the lottery and chose not to leave because they had it good in Albania. My family also had it somewhat decent in Albania, but they chose to leave.
Brother, respectfully,
go ahead.
This is a great story, okay? And I'm not trying to diminish the story of how your family got here at all by interjecting here, because again, I find human intuitiveness and our willpower to be a beautiful thing. But while you're telling me this story, I feel like we're missing and running over the point. And the point was that, like I said, morally, this country is a safe haven. We are not any other country. I feel like this is something that God, if it's really God bless America, you cannot sit there and let your brother fail.
Tivon.
You just can't.
Tivon, I don't disagree with you.
I feel you.
We have asylum-seeking laws. The majority of illegal immigration has not been that. That is what I'm trying to tell you. We're not disagreeing. We're not. I'm telling you my story to articulate.
But you're just saying that your struggle is more intense than maybe a Mexican individual who came over here and didn't feel like going to the immigration office and filling out his paperwork.
Tivon, what I'm trying to articulate to you is the proper way in which to come into this country because my family did it. That's what I'm trying to articulate to you. What I'm saying is there's a lot of people that will say the same things that we did, but they didn't go about it the right way. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying
and that's where we're disagreeing, brother.
I'm not trying to say that all illegals
there
are bad.
shouldn't be a right way for you to come to the land of the free.
That is insane to say, brother, because if you don't have clear and concise borders, how do you have a country? Where does your country end and start?
How did America start?
I could tell you how. Exceptionalism, Christian values, clear and concise borders for states and federal.
Or did we force a certain people out of their area and
Yeah.
then settle on
History
their
has
land?
always been written by the victors.
Exactly.
Tivon, who was the main slave drivers during the 1700s?
The,
Was it white people?
The Dahomey, and
Yes.
which is funny. They got a whole movie.
What do you
out
mean
of
by
it, too,
what do you
which
mean
is
by
crazy.
Dahomey? For those that might not understand,
There's a tribe in, what is it, Western Africa, kind of up there by that area, to where they were trading a lot of the Africans off into
close to
the
the Eurasian
to the
Peninsula.
slave trade. And they recently actually just got a movie for the Dahomey women, which is funny. They only won like one battle or something.
I love
like
how you
that,
call
where
them
they-
Dahomey, by the way.
That's what they're it's like Dahomey, or how you ever fucking say it, Dahomey. But
But what
they
you're
were
trying
the-
to articulate is Africans,
they
by and
they
large,
sold Africans into their
that they conquered and
To
enslaved to who?
to
The majority of the slave trade was not white people coming to Africa, finding black
the
people and
Netherlands
taking
started
them.
the slave trade.
I would say that the slave trade started way before the Netherlands. I think slavery as an institution has been since
Vikings.
has been since antiquity. So long as one man has been able to exert their will over another, there's been
But there's
slavery.
also been observations of how slavery was different in Africa. A lot of the times those guys would conquer people through warring
but-
nations and stuff, and then they would be released. They would go home.
Listen,
and
as-
then that's how they would spread their
as
society.
much as I want to have the conversation of like the institution of slavery, let us go back to the initial conversation about legal and illegal immigration. When I'm telling you, as a legal immigrant, I have reverence for this land. I have patriotic duty to America. Pay my taxes here. I grew up here. My kids will grow up here. I will. Let me go as far as to say this: I will die in America. I will be buried in this soil. Okay. What I'm saying is, to your point, if there are genuine asylum seekers, by all means. That is not what I said. What I'm asking you is a genuine question. Of the 22 million that have come over the last 4 years, how many do you perceive to be asylum seekers?
So, to answer that question, I'm gonna come to you as a what is that? Third generation removed from slavery, brought over here against their will, traded in the land, worked the land, helped make America, even though people would disagree.
No, I would agree. I would say
that the
Bla-
African
that black
the
history
black
is American history.
history is American history.
I would agree with that.
And I would say that as a black man, I don't think it matters. And this is why I would say that.
You don't think it matters what, like how many people came over here
come
of
over.
the 22 million?
Because
how
the
many people
way
come
it
through asylum?
seems, what does it mean to be American? In the end, what does it mean to be? I'll say it twice. What does it mean to be American?
To assimilate,
it seems
and
to
adopt
some
the culture
people
of America. That's what
that
it means.
they're afraid of Mexicans outnumbering.
Tivon,
I'm
this is
just
such a
saying.
level IQ argument.
I'm
dude.
just saying that's how, but that's how the argument usually starts.
If we
and then they're
deduce
like,
the
"Oh, it's
arguments
a
of the lowest
political
among
thing.
us."
They want these people to come in so they'll vote liberal."
Let me ask you a
and
question.
then
Let me ask you a
this and
question.
that.
Let me ask you a question.
Mexicans have been coming
Let me
into
ask
the
you a question.
country
Do you have
forever.
Tivon, do you have reverence for me? Do you believe that I'm a respectable individual?
Yes.
Okay. I also think the same of you. I want you to know that. I have a high value for your opinion.
That's why we can
and where
have
you're
a
at.
social discourse.
Why
and that's
do
why
you
it's your
think?
move.
Why do you think that an individual such as I would say close the borders, adjudicate an appropriate
And
number?
again, I can't base you on
No,
everybody else or the mainstream. That's again,
I
my
am
whole beef
isolating-
is on this phone.
I'm
on
isolating
X.
this to me
Okay.
right now. I'm isolating this to me right now.
Because you're an economic guy, you would say that it's affecting the economy. You'd say that it's affecting how. I don't know. What would you say? What would you? Why would you say that
I'll
Mexicans coming
explain
in is a
exactly.
bad thing?
I'll
Why are more Mexicans bad?
I don't think that any certain demographic coming over here is bad. We both know individuals within the MMA community. I don't want to out.
But why
them.
are immigrants bad?
No,
Why would immigrants coming over? Be
I don't
bad?
think immigrants are bad.
Undocumented.
I don't think immigrants are bad, Tivon. This is what I'm trying to explain to you, like in the most nurturing way that I can.
So why should we kick them out, even though they've been here
because
20
they
years
came here
and 7 years?
Because they came here uninvited.
But so if you've been here 20 years, you think it's okay for them to get kicked out?
Did I come here uninvited?
Huh?
Did I come here uninvited?
You have to be invited to go to the land of the free?
Yeah.
To the most beautiful land on, and
Yeah.
that's where we disagree. That's where that my shit. Ideologically, like I said, there's people in the dirt right now who have fought under the idea
Well,
that
hold up. Oh.
this country is the greatest country in the world, and everybody, if they could come here.
So, Tivon, hold up though, because previously we were talking about asylum seekers.
No, that's what I've always been talking about.
Okay.
No.
But asylum seekers.
You said asylum seekers. I brought up an example.
Everybody.
I say
not
everybody.
asylum. So not asylum seekers.
Even if you fucking hate just living in the Mexican heat, I want to go to America because it's awesome. I'm gonna pop up and see if I can do what? Live the American dream.
Let me ask you.
Who is the American dream sold to?
Let me ask you.
Everybody, right?
Let me ask you a simple question. Do you think that policy would be sustainable?
Yes, because if you get enough minds together, like I said, who aren't just solely obsessed, differing minds, a bunch of people together,
a lot of them
an
that hate
idea
black
is
people?
going to be spawned out of there.
A lot of them that hate black people, a lot of them that hate white people,
A lot of people who hated black people gave us rockets.
A lot of them that hate America for what it's.
Now I'm not talking about Elon. I'm just saying,
No,
like
I'm just saying,
Nazis.
I'm also saying,
Nazis.
Do you think that you can congregate a bunch of people from differing opinions, circumstances, and ideologies together, and they'll
You
coalesce?
have to. That's what's going to have to happen. That's what. If we are ever going to evolve as a species, we are going to have to come together at some point. That's why I say aliens will never make contact with us, brother, because in the end, we're just so cool with kicking each other out and not allowing into this club.
Okay,
not being able to be socially involved in this club.
Let me provide you an argument. Let's say that there is a country that believes in white supremacy that wants to assimilate to our culture.
Other than America.
1 second. That wants to assimilate to our culture, and they are seeking asylum. And I am going to invite 22 million white supremacists to this country. What would you say?
That's what they want.
You would say yes?
The government wants that.
Tivon,
That's
would you
what
say
they
yes?
want.
Would you say no? The government doesn't want that, Tivon. There are laws in stipulation that
Why is white supremacy involved in Mexican immigrants, though? Why are you doing that? Why are you making me choose between a Mexican immigrant and a white supremacist nation?
I'm giving you a hypothetical to extrapolate your thought process.
Yes. Do you know why?
The laws
because they
of our
don't want to
land,
be white
the
supremacists
laws of
anymore.
our
Yes,
land
they should
dictate
come.
that you cannot come to this country illegally.
They
That is
come.
literally why we have, by law, that is literally why we have a
If
distinction.
you're escaping the white power zone to come to the land of the free, yes, I support it. If you come over here and tread on us, we'll fuck you up and send you back.
Is America a white supremacist country?
Is it it's where white supremacists are the freest.
So these people are
That's where they can live the
these
freest.
people are fleeing from countries to come to a white supremacist freest country.
You know why? Because it's the land of the free. They realize if he can sit up here on Twitter and say all this shit, fuck Negroes and all this and all that, fuck Jews, blah, 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 this and that, I can go here and just make a living, stay out the way. I can provide a safe environment that's not down here in the south of the border. I don't have to be I don't have to drink bad water. I can try to provide.
I want to change the. Forgive me. I want to.
And
change,
then also one more thing. My bad. One more thing.
No.
These immigrants coming in. Do you know what else they do?
What do
they
do?
have to buy stuff. They become consumers. We are all cattle, bro. And sure, they're not doing it the right way, but in the end, they are consuming, and they will have to pay for things. And if they don't pay for things, they steal things. And guess who arrests them? The cop. The cop gets paid for the arrest. You know what I'm saying? That's his job, to be the arresting officer. And it's even a statistic that immigrants commit less crimes than Americans.
Which Americans?
You know what I mean? Like
Statistically,
definitely black Americans. But statistically, they don't fuck as many kids as white Americans. Does that make it fair to say? Does it make it right to say? No. That's why I'm saying, if you're a real genius, Chris Langdon, do you know who Chris Langdon is?
If you wanted to tell me that you wanted to evict from this country all pedophiles, I would agree with you. White, black, whatever. I would agree with you.
Would you agree with me if I said I wanted to evict all white supremacists?
Yeah, I'd agree with you.
I don't think you should. Because in the end, those people are people who are going to reproduce, and you're going to sit here. And there's a theory back in the day what happened actually and why Africa is going through such colonialism.
Actually, I would say
like
recolonization, but anyway.
And why all those people over there speaking French and everything like that is because a long time ago they're saying that, you know, the first white guys started having to go up a little northern and stuff like that, and he started looking different.
A bunch of tribesmen.
They kicked them out.
No,
that's what they. That's a theory. No. It's a theory, and I'm just saying it's a theory because we don't know what happened. They kicked him out, and that's why they came back with a vengeance.
We do know what happened because history is written by the victors. We don't understand the nuance of what happened. We do know what happened. We understand that Western.
If history is written by the victors, then we'll never.
That's what I'm trying to say. We understood that like Anglo-Saxon white Americans basically conquered the world
before the Moors.
I mean, there's always been a series of conquerors. I'm talking about the most recent.
They're the most recent in the last, what, 1,500 years?
You can say the same thing about Genghis Khan in the Eurasian Peninsula.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that...
You say Genghis?
That's how you pronounce it.
I hate you.
Sorry,
it's Genghis, you
It's
piece
not.
of shit. Okay,
That's your
go ahead,
prejudice.
Go ahead.
That's your prejudice. Man, forgive me because I want to...
You're fine, brother.
I'm trying as best as I can because you provide a lot of nuance, and I love this. However, I there's a lot of things that you said that I don't agree with.
Yes,
Some
sir.
things I do agree with.
I told you, brother.
A lot of things I don't agree with, but the things I don't agree with is I want to go back to a question before I even continue upon the conversation that we're having. What were I can explain to you the circumstances that have led to the reason why I think the way that I think, but I would like to hear from you what was your lived experience to arrive you to this point, to say with conviction the things that you're saying, because I don't think there's anything I could say today in the next 20 minutes that's going to change your mind. And by the way,
I don't think there's anything I can say to change your mind. But that's the thing, though. The fact that we're having the social discourse, the fact that we're sitting here disagreeing and not beating the shit out of each other,
of course.
is the beautiful part of it all. And that's the end goal of it all, bro.
I want to say this. I hope you felt respected this entire way.
The whole time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I want to have this discourse.
Because you're my friend.
Thank you. I want you to know that I don't think anything differently from you from any of this conversation. But it goes back to my question of there is a certain series of events that have led me to believe what I believe today and how I think today. I would like to understand how you've derived to there's a lot of things we share more in common than we don't, but there's something that you've experienced that has caused you to differ in certain aspects.
I'll give it.
And I'm curious as to what that is.
3 minutes uninterrupted, okay?
Yes, I'm
here. I'm gonna put the timer on. 3 minutes
Yeah,
uninterrupted.
yeah. It's your podcast.
I've gotten
Forgive
here.
me.
No, you're fine.
I
I
don't
just
want
put
it
it. I just put it for an hour, but no. So listen. Basically, my life experience has been this. My grandfather, like I said, was one of 12 brothers. They basically bought out the land that they were slaves on. That their
grandfather would be what, like 1900s, like 1800s, like
when was he born? I don't know. He was
you're
probably like 19, like
1900s, but not 1800s, so 1900s. Because grandfather, there's father, grandfather.
He's my great grandfather.
So yeah, 1900s.
My great grandfather was one of 12 brothers. Earl is my grandfather, and he was
pre-World War I is what we're talking about.
Pre-World War I. 2 generations,
Forgive me.
2 different people. 2 people who talk to people, both of which, or one of which who has put in a lot into my mother, and that's how things pass down. So I wouldn't say upset with America. I understand what America was founded on, though, in my own personal beliefs, from my family, from what I've seen. You know what I mean? I've seen how black soldiers were treated better overseas than they were in America, even though they were fighting against communism and,
World War I, World War II.
Dude, Germany, black people, there was people over there, right?
White Germans were spreading their legs equally amongst all Americans.
Why do you think there's so many black people in Germany right now?
Oh, I know why.
It's because they
were the liberators.
They were the liberators. They literally so I don't believe in the fact that racism can't be untaught or unlearned and stuff like that. I don't believe.
Do you think that racism is birth?
I believe that. So, like I said about,
you think people are born racist?
My boy, coach, the one I told you about who got the PhD, he showed us a video of how when people are shown different faces, their brain lights up in different ways. And the place where the fear response popped up, when it's shown a black face, it was in everybody. It was in all the white dudes.
That's actually kind of shocking to me. I didn't
check
know that.
Check that study out, bro. That's a real study, brother. And again, that's just the social training of things. If you remember, like I'm getting off the.
No, but forgive me. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Check it out, brother.
Let me go back to my initial question of like, do you think that racism is birth? Do you think that people are born racist?
It can be. And why I say it can be, and you might look at me crazy for this, bro. I feel like emotions, not so much as value, can be passed down through a fetus, through how you feel, through the amount of time that they're birthing. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not saying... I get that for stress. I get that for stress and things like that, but not necessarily.
I'm just saying, like, you know how some kids like pets and don't like pets? In the same sense, I can like black people and not like black people because they don't look like me.
That's different from
you know
racism.
What I mean? That's not, but it is. It's completely different. It's
prejudice.
It's difference to me. It's a difference. I don't see. But prejudice, by definition, is racism.
It's the first aspect.
It's the first
of
word
racism.
in racism. You see what I mean?
It's the first aspect of it.
So, and that's
if I'm prejudiced against the people that tip well, am I racist? That's prejudice.
It is, yes. Because guess who tips well? Because of, again, you're going to go look at statistical anomalies.
Economics, it's white people.
It's white people. Like, you see what I mean? And that's why you can't play devil's advocate for advocate.
Don't tip well because of culture.
Black people don't tip.
Or maybe because
I've heard that. Look.
Or maybe black people don't tip well because the other black people that they're around don't tip well. So it's never something that they're
poor.
Do you think that we have attributed over $1 trillion in commercial
black
debt
people,
because poor white people don't tip?
I've known black people who've tipped hundreds of dollars. Just 'cause I've gotten my highest tip when I was a delivery driver for China King was $100 tip from a black man. I pulled up. He said, "How much do you think I should tip?"
Shout out that guy.
He said. I said $100. He was like, "I respect that." Here's $100 and hand me $100. Shout out that guy. And that's why I don't. I feel like you're taking it in a negative way when I say Elon isn't a genius for the fact that he can't differentiate the fact that just because you're putting these numbers out here inflammatory, making it more inflammatory, you're providing more into this negative connotation of a person. You're pouring more into being negative into a marginalized group instead of doing what you should do, which is being uplifting in your community.
Tivon, the reason I take offense to that comment is because the fact that you can't articulate well that Elon Musk is a genius. And
he's not. Do you know who Chris Langdon is? This is why I'll quantify why he's not a genius. Chris Langdon is a real genius. Do you know why?
Okay.
He doesn't own a fucking multi-billion-dollar corporation. He doesn't do shit like he was a fucking bouncer, bro. He was abused by his dad. He fucking was writing fucking a goddamn theory for time travel on a napkin in a fucking bar while he's going to break up a bar fight and somebody stole the fucking napkin.
So the
Chris Langdon has a bunch of ideas.
The variable that doesn't make Elon Musk a genius is because he's afforded an immense amount of wealth and he doesn't spend that money. He doesn't spend that money the way you want him to.
You didn't let me finish my point.
Go ahead.
So Chris Langdon then went on to further elaborate. While again, this is a certified genius we're talking about here.
Who's a certified genius?
What he would do, huh?
By what certification?
By the genius certification people. Can you? I'm gonna look up Chris Langdon, man, and what it's IQ. I guess it's IQ.
Then if it's IQ, look up Elon Musk's IQ. I would love to whatever the best estimate that it's been measured. Because here's the thing I'm trying to say is like if you were to tell me that Elon Musk is a genius, but does not live his life the way you would prescribe that he should live, I could find some common ground with you. But for you to say flat out that he's not a genius is just so wild to me. And it's not that I'm trying to Elon nut hug. It's really not. It's that a person at that level cannot get to that level without having exceptionalism. Because Tivon, please, with all due respect,
you're good.
I'm surrounded by exceptional people with morality, with intelligence and wisdom that will never be an Elon Musk. So it's what are we talking about here? Surely we can come to the agreement that someone who's accumulated their life's goal to the level that they're at is above the majority of us. Not even above average.
So if I'm exceptional in the sense, are you saying that he's a genius by definition?
I'm saying that he's a genius by what he's been able to achieve. Yes. I don't know what.
So Kanye West is a genius.
I said that earlier. I said that both of them are geniuses.
So Hitler's a genius.
In his own way, Hitler was. Let me retract this. When you say Hitler was a genius, I think that Hitler was a genius in the sense of
he was the best at it.
He was a genius at rallying people towards an inconsistent lie. He was a genius at that. So, like, if you want to talk
Andrew Jackson a genius?
You talking about the president?
Mm-hmm.
Former president?
The one who eradicated the Native Americans.
I would say that
him doing that did progress America.
I would say that if you were, forgive me because I'm going to take a step back.
No, you're fine.
Because
because you know what you're doing.
No,
you might be correcting me.
Yeah, my
term of what.
I also want the listener to understand the context of what we're talking about. Mm-hmm. So when you ask me if Hitler was a genius, the reason why I say in aspects he was is because he was able to utilize a common enemy in the Jewish people to rally a nation into a world war. Also,
and had them dressed super snazzy.
They were very well dressed. Hugo Boss, shout out. But they were also able. He was also able to use the history of his people through the Treaty of Versailles and the loss of the First World War to rally his people to an inconsistency, and that the German
I got a
people,
point for that now.
you know what I mean?
So look, you see how you said
One
that?
second, let me go to Andrew Jackson.
Situational.
Go ahead.
Right?
But context is also all of this. The reason I said that Elon Musk and Kanye West were geniuses, I said that Kanye West was a genius because during my high school career, when I was in high school, he dropped the Graduation album. Actually, my 8th grade year into my high school career. And I listened to all that music growing up, and I thought that he was a lyrical master. A master. If you would have asked 15-year-old Ariana who the best rapper / artist was, I would have told you Kanye West. And then at 17, I would have told you Lil Wayne. And then at 20, I would have told you whoever it was at the time, right? So at the time, I would have told you he was a genius. Now, do I think that you have to be a genius in your craft to get to that level? Yes. And this is what I'm saying. Because you're saying that he's not a genius, and I'm saying Tivon that is so fall on its face. You can't get to that level without being a genius. Now, is he a genius in human empathy? Probably not. But is anybody else a genius in all other aspects? I would argue
In
no
that
fucking
sense,
way.
I will agree.
Okay. So this is what I'm trying to say. I'm not disagreeing with your dissertation of what you believe he should do with his wealth. I'm disagreeing with your synopsis
That
of
he's
him
not
as
a
an individual.
genius.
He's a genius. He's
What
a
was his
genius.
IQ?
Between like 100 and 160. It's never been tested, but
It's never been tested. What?
his SAT score was.
Have you tested your IQ?
1400.
Yeah, I got 150. No, I'm playing. That's too
Yeah, I don't know mine. I'd probably be like fucking 30. I bet probably be a broom.
They estimate between 100
I guess
Okay,
I'm-
so genius level IQ is typically defined as an intellectual quotient score of 140 or above. So
Okay.
they're
So
generalizing
1 to
saying that
160.
He's 160.
He's a decent probability of being a genius. Okay. And I would say that, but it goes back to my comment about, I said that Kanye West, an inner city Chicago black kid, and Elon Musk grew up in the south side of Africa, white guy, are both geniuses. Do you presume that my synopsis of genius is in any way shaped by prejudice or race?
No, not at all. And the only
Okay.
reason why I bring up the whole genius aspect of it all, because we were talking about as what he should do with his money. And what I was saying doesn't make him
Who
a
are you?
genius.
This is where I was trying to go.
And this is what I
No,
mean.
No, but Tivon. Who, with all respect, who the fuck are you?
Who would Chris Langdon be to tell him what to
Who
do
is
with
Chris
his money?
Langdon? Exactly. Who is Chris Langdon?
Chris
to say?
Langdon IQ is widely reported to be
who
in the
is
195 to 210 range. He is smarter. He's the
Tivon.
smartest person on the planet.
Tivon,
You
who
wouldn't
is
listen to
anybody-
the smartest
No,
person on the
because
planet?
I wouldn't listen to anyone that told me what to do with my fucking
That's
money.
a moral
No,
obligation.
that's reality.
That's what I think defines it. Remember what I said defines intelligence. You're going to put the people in the position who's going to pay attention. Now, if you can't sit here and say that you wouldn't give money to somebody with a 210 IQ range to make the world better,
You're not gonna like what I'm about to say.
you wouldn't.
You're not gonna like what
You
I'm about
wouldn't
to say.
because, like you said, who the fuck am I?
by
to
that
do with the money?
the majority of the black community.
That's why we will never make it.
By that logic, if the majority of the black community listened to people that were more financially savvy, they would uplift themselves and be in a different socioeconomic
Every time
stratosphere.
they tried, they got burned down. They did it? What happened to Black Wall Street?
What happened to Black Wall Street? What happened to Black Wall Street?
I'm pretty
Let's
sure it's
talk about it.
underwater right now, isn't it?
Did it
Isn't
ever start?
every major
Did it ever
thriving black town that has ever been tried to be initiated in America underwater?
Who pulled the trigger on Black Wall Street? Who pulled the trigger on black families?
The
Who
white
pulled the trigger?
neighbors. They literally came over there and burned the place down and
No.
dropped bombs from airplanes on the town.
No, I would make the argument. That we gave you the. I'll equivalate it to more modern terms. We gave you the bullets, the clip, the firearm, and everything, and we put the gun in your hand and we pointed it to you. But who pulled the trigger?
In that instance,
hold
they
up,
did. They
hold up.
destroyed that town.
I will tell you that you are absolutely correct in your assumptions that the white community gave the black community every.
Do you believe that the FBI has targeted the black community?
Yes.
And
CIA more than FBI?
why do you think that they would want
Civil unrest.
to
Civil
make the black
unrest.
community?
Civil unrest.
Now, why do you think that they? Now let's go back even like a couple 100 some years ago. Why do you think that the British Empire was plotting on Shaka Zulu, who's going to unite the tribes of Africa?
Why do you think Abraham Lincoln was shot in the head for emancipating the slaves?
He wasn't shot in the head for emancipating.
What was he
slaves.
shot in the head for then? if
Because
not
of
for
their.
emancipating
First
slaves?
of all, the Civil War. I took Civil War Reconstruction. It was not fought for slavery. It was fought for states'
It was
rights.
fought for the unionization of our
They
union.
was fought for state rights because they were afraid that if you free all these people, you're going to have more of a voting disproportion in this place, that
They
place.
gave
that
them
place.
freedom without the right to vote.
Okay, and this is what I was saying.
But Tivon, I
my bad.
repudiated your point.
What point?
They gave the black people the right to freedom and freedom in general, but not the right to vote. So what are you talking about?
Who gave the people the right to vote?
White people.
What are we talking about right now?
We're talking about Civil War. We're talking about Abraham Lincoln. I'm
Fuck
talking about
Abraham Lincoln. What about him?
what I'm saying is it goes back farther than that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. That's why I brought up Shaka Zulu.
Okay. I truthfully, I'm ignorant to Shaka Zulu. Forgive me.
Check out Shaka Zulu, brother.
I might need to Google
He
that
is
one.
literally the Caesar of Africa.
If your argument to me today is that the CIA, the FBI, there are three-letter agencies
the
within the
judicial
U.S.
system.
Even the judicial system, I would agree with that because I saw my sitting president get federal crimes and indictments on bullshit, which I'm sure the black community is all too friendly with. So I agree with you
They took Martha to
100%.
jail for telling us.
I agree with you 100%. And what I'm telling you is, like, systematically, that they're irrespective of each other. That the CIA and the FBI does not represent the American government by virtue of our amendments and the way we've proceeded. If you want to talk about, if you want to talk,
real
if
quick,
you want to talk about an empire,
just
and
before
it's, go
I
ahead.
forget this point, before
Yes,
we
please,
move
yes,
all the
please,
way
yes,
past this point,
Yes.
as to why the black community is where it is at. You just agreed that yes, those three-letter agencies have targeted the black community.
100%.
Fred Hampton was murdered in his home by the
Yeah,
FBI.
100%. I'm not
The
going to disagree with
CIA
you.
knew that the Muslims were going to attack old boy.
I've never once said that the black community has not been disproportionately attacked. I said that as an individual, I don't hold that up today. That's what I said.
So
I think two things can be possible.
let me read this to you. Okay, have you ever,
I think your mom or your grandfather have more of a leg to stand on for why they probably didn't have economical.
do you think my mom should get reparations?
Well, that's a good question. Reparations in general. I don't agree with reparations simply because not on the
So my
morality.
mom is like 61
One second.
years old.
Let me just finish my sentence.
63.
I don't disagree with reparations on the morality of it. I think that if a people have been wronged, they should be righted. I disagree with reparations because of the systemic way that you're going to attribute it and then prescribe it. Meaning, what percentage of black people today were descended from slaves?
Easily found out. I don't know exactly, but
Can you Google that?
Easily found
What
out.
percentage of the American what percentage of the American black population
And then for you
are
to sit
descended
here
by
and say
slaves?
you can't tell the difference between an African American and an African American is kind of
Well, I mean, by that logic,
you would know the difference.
when we're talking about reparations, are we including all slaves? Are we including the Jews in that? Because the Jews were the original slaves.
So this would be my thing
As far
about-
back as we can
This
recall.
would be my thing about reparations. There's definitely, if you lived through Jim Crow, I think you probably deserve
They're all dead.
reparations.
They're all dead.
My mom lived through Jim Crow.
Is she still alive?
Yeah.
Okay, then maybe she has a stake to that.
And
90% of black Americans today descended straight from slaves.
Descendants of enslaved people brought to the United States through the
brother,
Okay, so then 90% of black people have. One second.
picture 90% of the 90% of the people
Seems
starting
like that.
out from point nothing.
Okay.
Okay. Now remember, America has always been, like you said, when it was founded, an institution. Shit, the first person who got shot in the Revolution was a brother.
Yeah.
What was it? Atticus.
I forget the name of him. Forget.
Oh man,
Forgive his
Yeah,
memory.
brother. No, yeah, but and from that instance on, I'm just gonna read these. Pierce City, Missouri, in 1901, 300 black residents of the thriving black town expelled after 3 black men were lynched for allegedly killing a white woman. Did he do it?
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Meaning they probably didn't do it.
Elaine, Arkansas, 1919. During a period known as the Red Summer, a white mob attacked black farmers who were meeting to organize. State and federal troops were deployed, leading to the death of over 200 black people. Let's keep it going. East St. Louis, Illinois, right up the street here, 1917, an outbreak of labor and race-related violence led by whites. 200 homes were burned. Okay, keep going. Willington, North Carolina, 2,000 black residents lived permanently abandoning their businesses,
Tivon.
property, once a thriving black major city.
You could
It's
do,
not even
Tivon, you could do an entire podcast
all day.
Tivon, you could do an entire podcast.
So I'm trying to figure out why
One second,
that's never quantified
Yeah,
in the
because-
violence, in the society, in the culture of the modern day African. Why do you think that doesn't affect me? That's what I want to know.
Because you grew up in a country that was systemically different from that one. You were born into one systemically different.
There's people older than my mom who are literally judges right now,
Okay.
who literally are in Congress.
And you don't have it as hard as your mom. Is that a progress or a regress?
I don't have it as hard as my mom.
Yes.
As in, like,
You don't. Your
my
life,
mom saw people, her friends get their hands
Lynched.
blown off with
Lynched and all
shotguns,
that.
all
Yeah.
kinds of crazy
Yes.
shit.
Yes.
Obviously, I don't have it as hard
Yes.
as my mom.
Yes.
But does that mean that
My
we
family.
should stop fighting for
My
equality?
family-
Do I think
Tivon,
DI is a bad
my
thing
family,
in America?
My family had to prescribe as fake communists in order to survive. My family.
But when you come to America, and again, you're going to hate me for saying this, you have the complexion for the protection. Okay? You're
think-
not going to get loans as easily as an
do you
African
think-
American.
Do you think that people in California?
Why do you think they don't give more businesses?
Do you think that people in California today who can't speak English correctly, who have like that accent to them, do you think that ICE is deporting them in disproportionate thing? Okay.
I've seen it happen. Literally, a lady
Anecdotally, you went to California and you saw it, or
No,
you saw it in Missouri?
Brother,
ICE in
listen.
front of you?
My friend's name is Carlos, okay? And he lives
Shout
in
out Carlos.
Shout out Carlos, brother. His name is Carlos. He goes by Blair. We've been gaming together forever, man.
Oh, okay. Right.
And he is literally like, I don't, oh, shit. I don't want to give up his
No,
his
yeah.
detail.
Be careful how much you say.
But you got to understand, he is like born here, Mexican, okay? You want to kick my friend out of the country?
Born in America.
Yeah, like his parents came here, had
they
him
legal?
in America. Huh?
Are they legal? His parents?
I don't know. Probably not.
If they're illegal and they never went through the citizenship process, I would say that his
Been
birth,
here for 30
I would
plus
say
years.
that his birth into this country is not legal
It's not legal, not by the book. But
Yes.
does that give you the right to kick him out of America?
by definition. Yes.
Remember when you asked, who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? Who
Illegal-
the fuck is the government? Who the fuck does the United States think that they are, that they can put a
Illegal-
claim on
A
freedom?
legal U.S. citizen who
You think
votes,
people are in the dirt right now thinking, oh, as long as you fill out your paperwork, I'm glad I took this bullet so you didn't get raped and killed in your home, or that you just wanted a better life for yourself, that you wanted to live the American dream that I believe
Why
in.
is it that these things are dissipated from one another? Why is it that you?
I'm asking you that.
Let me ask you that. Why do you think that we hold a special relegation for legal and illegal immigrants? Why don't we just call them immigrants? Why do we have this stipulation? Are there not laws in place? Have we not as a society voted for our representatives to represent us, who then the legislature
I'm
creates
gonna
the laws?
get real conspiracy on
Go
you.
ahead,
Do
go
you
ahead.
know why that this is a big deal now? It's because it's another form of control. I believe we live in a monarchy, a democratic
Tivon,
monarchy.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Do you know why? No,
Tivon,
let me finish my
Tivon,
point.
no, Tivon, I love
Democratic
you. I think it's a
monarchy in
big
this
issue because in the last 4 fucking years, we allowed 22 million illegal immigrants come into this country. That's why I think it's an issue.
But what does that have to do with anything?
Because in 4 years, if
What
you
are those
allow,
22
if
million
you allow
people
for,
doing?
because it's almost 10%.
What are they doing?
That's almost 10% of the U.S. population.
But what are they doing in America?
They're coming in here,
and
working illegally,
working and buying stuff.
No.
Paying taxes?
Yes. One second.
They commit crime
Are they
at a
buying
less
stuff?
rate than us?
Are they buying stuff? Yes. Are they paying taxes? Sales tax, property tax, all these things? Yes. Are they here illegally by the first act of their
How many
issuance
people
in this
come
country?
in illegally
One
from
second.
Canada? Look that up too.
It's far less.
Well, but look
Actually,
it
it might be more than I think. Actually, considering other countries.
From Canada,
the
look at how
Canada
many people
border,
enter
like,
illegally from Canada.
Can you just look up 2020 because it's tough to do more recently, but like 2020 illegal immigration by border, whether it's north or
But no,
south.
you're saying
border.
that 22 million people come here.
One second. 22 million people came here within 4 years because the executive branch basically said to everybody, "We will not kick you out." They grabbed them.
But it was convenient enough to import 250 million Africans over 100 and some years.
Yeah. My response to that is yeah.
It's the workforce, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, but that was a different time. Surely we can assess that. Surely
But look,
we
though,
assess that.
remember,
we
now
were
we
talking
gotta
about
live
no.
around.
We were talking about earlier about
Modern day
automation.
slavery.
We were talking about earlier automation and how we could easily replicate low level labor and then also coupling that with like allowing low-level labor to
I
come
didn't
into
agree
this
with you
country.
on that. You can't.
Go ahead.
You can't use AI to replicate low-level labor. You
I
consider
can
you consider
guarantee you
plumbing
you
low-level
can.
labor?
No, that's trade work. That's not low-level labor.
Okay, that's where I was. That's what I was wondering.
The definition of low-level labor is to be
Because when you break out
what
a
I
basement,
consider
who's going to carry all that
what
dirt
I
out?
consider low-level labor is anybody can be plucked out and anybody can be plucked in.
So like a cashier,
Yeah.
a McDonald's employee.
Yes.
And you think they shouldn't get paid a fair
No, what I'm
living
saying
wage?
is what I'm saying is in coupling with automation already, illegal immigration and unfettered immigration makes that even more hard on the middle class.
So what else is other than cashiers? You want to replace the cashiers, which again I think is a mistake. You shouldn't automate that.
I don't
because-
think, by the way, for the record, I don't want to replace anybody who I think has intrinsic value. So
What has intrinsic value?
Anywhere where there's human to human interaction. So white collar work, where I replace the whole team of analysts, I don't feel bad for that. They don't
What
have
does that
any
mean?
they don't-
Analyst of what?
analysts in the sense of like what they executed, meaning like it could easily be
Like
automated.
looking at the numbers,
Yeah.
and seeing like
You don't need a human
what's
to
it
do
called? The not the rhythm, but what is that called? The
Algorithm.
Algorithm
Yeah,
and
yeah.
stuff like
Yes,
that. You
yes.
you would automate.
Bye bye,
that.
5 of you.
You wouldn't pay them their $400,000 a year salary.
No, they probably made like 100,000.
I know. I was just
It's 400,000
But
for
four
the team.
people, 400.
Yeah.
You'd fire them.
Bye bye. I did fire them. I fired them. Now, do I believe that they had value? No, because they were literally like middle. Listen, Tivon, corporate America is full of like white collar
I
workers.
just can't support getting rid of jobs. I can't support.
They
like you said,
shouldn't
even in-
exist.
But they should though.
They shouldn't
That's-
exist.
and that's why I think the
Do you,
mechanics of
do you,
humanity.
do you believe
needs
that
to
we should
come
be
on.
inefficient on purpose?
So when it comes to automation, we can definitely automate ways to be efficient while still allowing humans to be efficient inside of it. Doesn't mean replacing.
That's
them
what we're doing.
completely.
One
But
man
we're
can now do the
replacing
work
them.
of 10.
We're replacing them.
By virtue of progression, yes. That's what happened with industrialization. That's what happened with everything else. Why did slavery really get emancipated? Why? Industrial revolution. It was already starting. That's why slavery got emancipated, because the North was already accumulating wealth. They didn't emancipate the slaves out of the goodness of their heart. Only though.
Do you know how
Go
it
ahead.
changed though?
Go ahead.
Do you know what the replacement for that slave labor was? Do you know why the
Foreigners.
North is more racist than the South? It's not foreigners. You can go to jail and still do this work now for a penny.
Yeah.
Guess what they did when black people got free, quote unquote? Your black ass is back to slavery. You're getting arrested for stepping on a white guy's shadow. You're getting arrested for spitting gum on the street. You're doing this
Talking
and
about
this.
Jim Crow laws and all the laws.
And then
that
you're
superseded
going
it.
to work. America has always outsourced its labor to who?
Minorities.
The criminals. The
minorities.
Yeah.
Minorities.
They called them criminals.
I was one of the minorities.
Yeah,
by the
to
way.
the minorities. You
By
see
the
what
way,
I mean?
Tivon, for the record,
marginalized group.
For the record, my parents were the minorities.
Yeah.
My parents didn't know English. My parents worked all the shitty jobs. Like when we talk about immigrants coming to this country and like working the shitty jobs we don't want, that's what my parents worked. They were the bus boys. They were the my dad literally, I think one of his jobs was like cleaning up after construction was done. Like the construction company would come in, do whatever
That's
building
good
they
money.
would come in, and he would come in and basically just pick shit up and put it in a trash can, right?
Haul it off.
That was one of his jobs, okay? Not necessarily high level labor, but my dad would do it. So this is coming from the context of someone who like grew up in this as well. And it is not lost on me that we have very similar ideologies of like what it means to be poor and what it means to be not necessarily well off or like all these things. But let me try to go back because we've been spending the last 2 hours talking about the things where we differ. But I think there's some things that we have in common.
Real quick.
Go ahead.
You said we're not running out of resources, right? We're not running out of land.
I would make the argument that our propensity for productivity is only going to increase, causing a greater wealth disparity.
We're not running out of resources. We're not running out of land. Why can't we just let the Mexicans in and come live in Montana?
Because there's a greater wealth disparity.
Between
We have more
the
poor-
Mexican or between the
It
immigrants
has nothing
and
to do
who?
with demographics. We have more poorer people.
We're gonna have more poor people when we kick them out anyway.
What do you mean? Sorry.
The wealth gap has become so large that even if we do kick out all the immigrants, we're still gonna be way below the upper.
Well, you say
1%.
kicking out all the immigrants. Do you mean illegal immigrants? The people that have
illegal
come in?
immigrants. Yes.
I think that would be a net boon to our
the
economy.
ones who've been here for 20 plus years.
You know what's
You
ironic
think
about what you're
losing
saying?
tax
Yeah. You
money?
want to know what I think is ironic about what you're saying? You want to know who would probably benefit the most from this? Black people.
Because they're taking black jobs.
No, because they're underselling black jobs.
But we've always undersold black jobs. That's why we put them in prison.
Yeah, but
that's
we've
how the
outsourced it now
progressivism
to
of
illegal
America
immigrants.
has worked out.
But the irony in a black person telling me to allow other people coming into this country to then subvert their people's jobs is just not lost on me.
But then again, who's paying these illegal immigrants? It's
Yeah,
not
the white man.
It's not black people.
The white man. The white man. I have no problem.
So is the
saying
white
that.
man shooting the white man in the foot here?
No,
I don't get what's going on.
No. It's the white people that voted for Trump who then said kick out all these illegal.
And now they're
illegal
suffering
immigrants.
because they
now
did it.
it's people on your side, Tivon, because I do think you're more liberal than you think you are. I do think it's people on your side that are saying keep them in at the detriment of yourself. Can I be honest with you? You want to know what illegal?
I say keep them in as a righteous man.
You
of
want to know what
God.
illegal immigration helps?
As Jesus would say, do you think Jesus would kick these people out? Do you think Jesus
No.
would say? Exactly.
No, they
Jesus
wouldn't.
wouldn't do it. And that's where I'm coming from. I just wouldn't, as a man of Jesus who believes that this man fed all these people from that fish and from that wine, from that water, I believe it is our godly duty. It is Elon Musk's godly duty to enhance the world that we live in. And in the end, it might not make sense economically, this, and the third. But
it
you can't
doesn't-
convince me
Tivon,
that
it
if you
doesn't
can
make sense-
donate $350 million to the Orange Man's campaign, that you can't donate $350 million to make sure nobody gets stabbed in the face on a bus again. People get released from jail because they have mental instability.
Here's where I will
That's
end
why
this.
that guy got out.
Here's where
you
I will
can't
end
keep
this.
him in jail.
Here's where I will end this. If America continues to do the fiscally irresponsible thing, if we continue to print money, if we continue to do the things that are not feasible, then another country will usurp us as the hegemony of the world, i.e. China.
And that's where you didn't listen to my budget plan.
Go ahead.
You will never take America out, brother. Why? Because we have a military. Our military complex so strong. Listen, you decide not to trade with us, we're going to end up doing some dark op shit to your ass. I'm sorry. That's just how it's been. You can't convince me these guys in the government don't have money for days that's super long that they'll just pull out their ass from somewhere.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
They do, though. They do
don't.
have super long money.
Tivon, you're wrong.
The CIA doesn't have
Tivon,
super
you're
long
wrong.
money.
Yes, they don't have enough money. No, you're wrong. We have $40 trillion in debt. You're wrong.
$40 trillion in debt to
The U.S.
who?
country is $40 trillion.
To
in debt.
who?
You're
And
wrong.
who's going to collect
To
it?
everybody that owns our bonds.
Who's gonna collect it?
And where we print money, i.e. the Treasury. You're
Who's
wrong.
going to collect this money?
The world where they decide to not let the U.S. dollar become the reserve currency. This mentality that you have right now, on monetary policy, is the greatest detriment force to America.
I'm just saying, the cycle starts at the bottom. You
No.
got more people providing tax money, more tax money going into the
Tivon,
government.
I'm gonna bring you back to that point.
Okay.
Because you believe that we have this money in perpetuity for endless times. What
You buy
leads-
something from the gas station. Juan buys Modelo. What does he pay on that? Sales
Dollars.
tax.
Sales tax, okay.
22 million people buy a Modelo.
Yeah, and what is
$22
our
million
sales tax?
in subsidy?
What is our taxation per year? $4.9 trillion. What is our budget annually? 6.1.
The numbers according to who, though? Again, that's what I'm saying. You're taking these numbers from our government analysts.
Where are you
Statistically.
getting your numbers?
I'm saying eliminate the numbers.
One second. Okay. Eliminate the numbers.
Eliminate
Where are
the
you getting
numbers.
this?
This
false
is why I
sense-
say eliminate the numbers.
Where are you?
Because if you
okay,
go by the numbers,
where
blacks
are
are
you getting this
violent.
false sense
If
of
you go by
reality
the
that a country
numbers,
could do whatever it wants in perpetuity? Where are you getting this false sense of reality?
the future.
What does that mean?
The future. If we're ever going to proceed into the future, you're eventually going to have to make some sacrifices, jump over some fucking hurdles.
You want to know what you want to know what America's sacrifice will be?
Closing the borders.
Do you want to know what America's
making
sacrifice will
people
be?
Suffer is not the way.
Do you want to know what America's sacrifice will be? Losing hegemony of the world. Let me hit you on something. Where are the number one?
You think we have hegemony in the world
we
right
do,
now?
100% right. We do right now.
With
yes.
all the tariffs and all the
yes,
crazy shit
that's
going
why
on?
we're able to issue tariffs. That's how we issue tariffs because we're the global superpower, without question.
And what makes us a global superpower?
Our economic force.
Our fucking military.
No, you can make the argument that our Navy does. You can make the argument that the
fucking
Navy
military,
does. You
really.
can make the argument that the Navy
Bro,
does.
we make more money than anything that you're going to say that we outsource in selling weapons. Our weapons are our major outpour, bro. Like, that's where we make our money.
to countries that we give money to.
We're selling weapons to Ukraine.
To countries that we give money to.
Why'd we give a bunch of money to Israel?
So that they can buy our weapons.
The Iron Dome.
Yeah, we print money and give it to people to buy our weapons. Is that the reality of commerce? Tivon, it's not.
So that makes more sense for people to do, to spend
No.
billions of dollars on
No.
that instead
What
of
I'm
allowing
saying,
people
Tivon,
to come here to
Tivon.
work and to live
Tivon,
and pay into it.
what I'm saying is both don't make sense. What I'm saying is our current trajectory doesn't make sense. And you know what will exacerbate our loss as the global hegemony? Unfettered immigration. It'll only add to it. We're
I can't
already
agree because this is a country of immigrants. That's the only reason I can't agree with it.
okay.
I just don't see how more people is bad. I don't see how increasing the American population is bad. People are saying that we're being attacked from the inside. I'm saying that they're talking about the birth rates are down and yada, yada, yada. They don't mean that the birth rates are down. They mean the white birth rates are down. So you don't think that these Mexican men, these Hispanic, these illegals can come over here and be just as American as you are. They don't want to enlist in the military. There's plenty of Mexicans in the military who enlisted to get citizenship.
Where are you coming with these numbers? Where are you coming with this thought? Like, you're saying a lot of things, and like I don't think you have any
But you
basis.
feel me on them, though. That's why
No,
you're shaking
no,
your
no,
head.
no,
Because you
no.
know that it's the truth, brother. Listen,
Tivon,
the more
I couldn't disagree
people
more.
that are here spending and buying is a good thing.
No.
If we increase the birth rates for people who can't buy and spend, and they're just out here eating and using resources, that is not a good thing. I don't see how that.
Let me go to the natural conclusion of your argument so that you could possibly see mine. How much immigration would you then stop? Like, how many people need to come over to this border to where you're like, okay, enough's enough? What's the number?
I don't think it would ever. I don't
Okay,
think
so
I-
just
do you know why?
Just keep
Because
letting
look,
them in.
Again, more jobs. You vet them at the fucking.
Who's going to create the jobs?
Huh?
Who's going to create the jobs? The government?
The government.
The government is going to create jobs.
The government is going to create jobs by telling people to go out there and vet these people. That is your job. Go and vet these people. Make sure they're not crazy. And then they created more jobs by
And if
having
they are
people
crazy,
vet
hold
the
up,
vetters.
hold up. If they are crazy and they say, no, you can't come into this country, what do you say?
Oh, you're not allowed in.
You're a hypocrite. I thought we were a nation of immigrants.
You want to allow
Who are you-
unstable people in?
Tivon, who are you?
I'm talking about people walking
who
around
are
like this.
you-
I'm going to
who-
stab them in the face.
Who are you to distinguish?
Other than that, yeah.
Who are you to distinguish? What if that's like their religious thoughts?
What do the police do to establish somebody having a mental breakdown? I'd say the same process, brother. Do you know what the positive impacts of immigration are?
Tivon, I am.
They expand the labor force, increase consumer demand, boost overall economic growth, and the Congressional Budget
What
Office
happens when you
projects
expand
that
the
recent
labor force?
immigration could add trillions of dollars
What
to
happens-
the U.S. GDP over the next decade.
What happens when you expand the labor force when the labor force is contracting? What happens?
It's adding trillions of dollars to the GDP.
What happens, Tivon, when you expand the labor force and in the last month, 12 different companies announced over 500,000 employee layoffs? What happens?
Do you know people who want to work construction? Like, I'm just saying,
Who's going to hire them, Tivon?
the people who were hiring them before.
Tivon, there's not enough economic opportunity. They're being automated.
Healthcare, construction, agriculture. They are more likely to start the businesses.
I no
than the
longer
native
feel like you're operating in a sense of goodwill and common respect. Now I feel like you're being condescending.
Am
and
I?
Yeah, because you're looking exclusively on your phone, Googling stuff, and having a conversation with me.
Well, I just wanted to make sure that these were the facts that I was spitting, because you asked me where I was getting my
You're saying
numbers.
facts because
You asked me where I was getting my numbers.
You're saying facts because you're Googling something, not
Yes.
not referencing the source. It could be the AI algorithm based on media.
I apologize. This is a source from it has a source right here actually, and I will give you the source so you don't think I'm being disingenuous or anything. So are we saying we don't believe AI Google? We don't believe AI automation?
I think AI is a by the way, I work with AI. This is where my expertise comes in.
Is it biased?
AI is biased. 1,000,000%, because AI is representative of its language learning models tied to its data set that it learned upon. So yes, that's how you can have OpenAI talking about how the founding fathers were black. That's how you have that bias. Yes, Tivon. Yes. The answer to your question
AI
is yes.
said that the founding fathers
Was
were
black. Yes.
I need to see that.
Google it. You're on Google right now.
I need to see
Google.
that.
Google. Did AI ever consider the founding fathers black? You're on Google, brother.
Do immigrants pay billions in federal, state, local taxes?
Do they receive
over their
more?
lifetimes?
Do they receive more in benefits than they pay out? Illegal immigrants. Do the illegal immigrants receive more than they pay out? The vast majority of people.
So is AI wrong for saying they generally contribute more to government than the the consumers in public services?
Yes.
Then they
yes.
consume
AI is
public
wrong.
services?
Yes. AI is wrong. That's what I'm telling you. AI is wrong. Yes. The majority of Americans,
What would be a reputable
one second,
source for the information?
Tivon, the majority of Americans, economically speaking, and you can do this from the the Department of Labor, because I don't have my phone in front of me. The labor of
Here,
what's the?
don't go on my browser.
No, you're good. The labor of. There's a Federal Bureau of Labor and Statistics, whatever. I forget. Forgive me, because we're 3 hours and 15 minutes into this. What I'm telling you, Tivon, is, and please, like, do me a favor. Get off your phone for a second. I'm sorry. This is the one time I'm going to ask you, because I'm saying this man to man. Okay. I want to do all the things you want to do. In my heart, I want to create the most prosperity that there can be. I want to make sure that we elevate as many people as possible out of poverty and out of systemic racism and out of all of these things as possible. I want America to continue to be the shining gem on the mountaintop. But what I'm telling you, man to man, is if we continue with your thought process at our current fiscal irresponsibility, we will inevitably lead the world into China's hands, who has more Uyghur Muslim slave labor than America has ever had, ever.
And they're invading Africa.
Today. And then with the Belt and Road Initiative, through economic sanctions and leverage, will do more harm to your black people than the white people have ever done.
Okay, so listen, if my black people and your white people got together and started to communicate more with the immigrants.
What if I would have told you that they've been trying to do that for the last 8 years?
Let me finish. Start to communicate with the illegal immigrants that are here and commit less of the crime. What if we start sending them over to Africa and having them mine lithium and stuff like that?
How can we do that? What are you talking about? How can we do that?
We're talking about China, right?
Do we have the authority?
China is in Africa.
Tivon, do we have the authority to propagate individuals into another nation?
We do it all the time, though.
Jesus Christ, Tivon, you're no longer arguing in good faith. You're not. You're kind of.
We don't have United States embassies.
Yeah, we can't bring people over to do slave labor.
We don't have military bases in Japan. We bomb them to shit, and we have military bases there.
And what I'm saying is, we cannot bring in slave labor. We cannot force people into labor on behalf of the U.S.
slave
government.
labor?
How else are you going to do this?
You tell them they can have their citizenship, I guess. Huh?
That's slave labor, Tivon. That's what we do now. That's what we do now. We tell illegal immigrants, come over to this country, work for shittier pay, don't have any rights, have your babies here, work for Tyson on these farms, or work in California weed farms without papers, getting paid minimum wage, work as modern day slave labor, have your kids here, have them be legalized. Yes. That's what we're saying.
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
Yes. Because again, it gives them
opportunity
at the American dream.
The irony and the beauty of America is, in today's day and age, we have a white man arguing not for slavery, and we have a black man arguing for slavery.
Slaves didn't get paid. If you want to say it like
Tivon,
that,
I don't think this will age.
Slaves.
Tivon, I'm gonna give you out of caution for our relationship, and out of caution because I know that we've been having a 3-hour conversation, and you might be saying things that you don't actually believe. I'm gonna give you another chance to come back and say, are you saying that slave labor should be legalized because we're paying them sub minimum wage?
Brother, who is paying them sub minimum wage?
The companies that employ illegal immigrants.
And so you're mad at me?
No, I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you.
What it sounds like you're trying to get me to say that I'm justifying the reason that they're getting paid so low.
You are.
I've already said that Elon Musk is a piece of shit because of what he does with his company and how he spends his money. You don't think I think that the rest of these people who own these big companies, Tysons and stuff like that, are pieces of shit for paying them less?
So then why wouldn't
I'm less against immigration than I am for fucking monopoly control.
So why wouldn't you say, by the way, illegal immigration is a direct correlation to monopoly control, because it's never been more easily to be a monopoly when you have the expanses of the economies of scale to hire illegal immigrants at subpar values.
It's also easier to control the monopoly when you have less people opposing the opinion. They hire enough of these illegal immigrants who make themselves a a viable part of that company for so long, so large that their voice is eventually heard, and then they can go ahead and do what the boxers did.
That's
Muhammad
funny. That's
Ali
funny
had.
that you think that.
We want to get
That's
paid
funny that you
more.
think that.
Okay, 22 million Mexicans versus a company versus 1 million Mexicans versus a company. Who's going to win?
None of these Mexicans are going to speak up because they're all illegal immigrants and they're scared of getting deported.
Do you know why they're scared? Because your guys are
Because they
down
came
with
to this
them
country
getting
because
deported.
they came to this country illegally.
How are you going to fight slavery without the slave? See what I'm saying?
Easily. With paid people. This is what's happening right now.
But that's why no one's getting paid.
ICE is...
Because no one wants to pay anyone a living wage.
Oh, my God, dude. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Where do you think the poverty line is in the United States, brother?
Sub $54,000 a year for a household.
Now, do you think that I'm impoverished?
I don't know, Tivon. I don't know what you make.
Technically, I'm in poverty. I know plenty of people living in poverty.
Your household, Tivon, makes less than $54,000?
So, with that being said...
Does your household make less than $54,000?
Yes. With that being...
Then yes, you would be considered in poverty.
With that being said, like as an annual thing, like that I could probably put on the numbers, yeah, I probably don't fucking come up with $54,000 in a year at one point. I could probably come up with that in
Not
between
you,
the shit.
your household, everybody in your house.
Yeah, I support my kids and my
okay, so
and shit like that. Yeah.
Shout out to your lady because I think motherhood is the most important job.
She also works in cosmetology though, so she's about to make more money because she's shout out to Lash Lounge. No, yeah, we definitely don't make that much.
Why do you think that is?
Why is that?
A lot of factors, Tivon.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's a lot of factors, Tivon.
Is it us not applying ourselves? Because I
think that's a factor.
She has a degree. She has cosmetology degree.
I think that you're married to the fight game. I think that's a detriment to your ability to earn income.
To earn money. Yeah.
Until it's not. That's what a dream is.
But I still work my 8 hours every day.
I agree. By the way, I'm
in the labor force.
1 second. I think that like this could easily be turned on its head if you have like 5 more wins and you get signed by the UFC. Then that's not the case. Then I say that your dream became a reality, like Sean Woodson, for instance. That's like prime example, right? So like I'm not knocking you. I'm talking about the objective reality.
That is that in my reality.
You're sacrificing for a dream, and I'm not.
But I'm going to school at the same time.
Beautiful.
So that I can try to get a better job.
Beautiful.
And that's something that I've been having to save up for and put money towards.
God bless.
Fighting does take up time, but I wouldn't say that it's not making me have money the ability to be an earner. If anything,
agreed.
It's also opened up a lot of opportunities.
Agreed.
But again, this is just me talking. And we were talking about the poverty line in general. Me, in general, they don't affect me. You see what I mean? Like,
what do you mean they don't affect you? Sorry.
Again, you're gonna hate me, really.
No, brother. I want you to know I never hate you. Sorry.
The reason,
if I seem frustrated, it's because I'm not doing a good job of articulating myself to you.
No, you're fine, brother. So, like I said, my boy Los, his family, his mother who came here illegally, who's been here for 20 years, her lineage, the people around her who might have came over here illegally, probably still aren't on their papers and stuff like that. That stuff is not affecting me.
Why? But why? Why would you live here 20 years and not start the prospects of possibly becoming a U.S. citizen?
I just don't understand why we can't be more courteous to them. That's all I'm saying. I don't think they should be thrown out,
here's what I think would happen.
I just think that the humanity and all, where do we lose our humanity,
Tivon,
bro?
Here's where I'll give some common ground. If you will extend to me the courtesy that people should not come over here uninvited, I will extend to you the courtesy.
Who's supposed to invite them?
I will extend.
How do you get invited to the
U.S. adjudication immigration system by the laws that our representatives who are voted on by us have depicted. We depicted our laws.
And then again, there we go into the whole conspiracy, because like I said, I don't believe we really vote for shit that matters. You know what I mean? Like, they tell us that we vote for our local government and our local mayor and our local or our governor and the representatives.
You keep moving the goalposts.
But I know, and that's why this is such a complicated subject, though. That's why it's such a complicated issue.
Hold up, though. We start with this one issue, and then it devolves to, well, the whole system is corrupt. And now here's my response to that, because you're not wrong. Is there corruption in the U.S. government?
At the highest levels.
100%. No,
and
not
you
even
just
at the highest
said
levels.
you just said even in the 3-letter groups.
In the lowest levels, in NGOs, non-government associations,
all the way
and
top
organizations. 100%. There's corruption.
The NYPD.
Let me ask you this question: do you think if you were to line up every other country in terms of corruption and systemic, all these other things, where do you think America lines up with that? Do you think we're better or worse than China?
I think that.
Do you think we're better or worse than Russia?
I think again that's where
Answer my question, please.
I can't. Do you know why I
Why?
can't? Because
What do you think? What do you think?
That's
what's
why-
your
that's
what's
what
your
I'm saying.
opinion?
that's what I'm saying. Like morally, it is our obligation to be the safe haven. And I get what you're saying. And look, I see you go in your hand. I know, bro. And that's where the geniuses and everyone and the philosophers, they butt heads. Because again, your philosophy
It's unsustainable,
it
Tivon.
exactly.
It's unsustainable.
But is it unsustainable?
Yes.
Because we're never gonna run out of resources.
No, Tivon, it's unsustainable not because of resources. It's unsustainable because economy. Okay, if I would have said 25 years ago, I would not be fighting your thought process. 25 years ago, I would not be fighting your thought process. You are $40 trillion in debt. For you to count that number from 1 to 40 trillion, you would die around like the 500 billion mark before you would count to that number. I don't think Americans understand the economic hole that we are in. We are no longer in a position to do any of what you said today.
But
In
didn't
fact-
we just leave $350 billion worth of hardware over in the Middle East, allowing the enemy
Yeah, during
we've been
the
fighting
during
for
the Biden
20
administration,
years?
during the Biden administration, when they aghastly got out of Afghanistan and left all our military grade equipment
and the
over
Bush
there.
administration started it.
Agreed.
That's what I'm
and
saying.
Then Obama
That's why I think we're
administration,
in
and then
a
Obama
democratic
administration,
monarchy.
and then the
Because
Obama
it doesn't matter.
administration then
Left,
went on to
right,
bomb
it's all
more
for a
people
certain
in
interest.
8 years than the American empire did in the last 160. Google that.
Shout out drone strikes.
Drone strikes, exactly. In Iraq, Afghanistan,
Obama was a big
Iran.
proprietor of drone strikes.
Yes. So what I'm trying to say to you is, if your argument to me is that up until this point we've been retarded, I would agree with you. I would agree with you. I would agree with you. Yes. Fiscally, we have been retarded up until this point. Now, what I'm telling you,
I mean morally too.
what I'm telling, and morally, I agree with you again. And what I'm telling you is, morally and fiscally, we can no longer agree to be retarded. We are not in a fiscal position to take on illegal immigrants. We're not. We can barely hold on to the people in this country right now. Your way of thinking would implode this nation, causing other nations,
How's it gonna
i.e.,
implode?
because we cannot fiscally be responsible enough to employ these people.
But how would it be? How would
Because
it
we
implode,
don't
though?
have the economic capabilities. We don't have it. There's not enough jobs.
So
There's not enough money. There's not enough economic prosperity. America is not rich enough.
So we can't rehire the automated people who lost their jobs as cash.
In what respect? When you say
We can't create more jobs?
When you say we create jobs, what does that mean?
Like
When
I
you
told
say we hire, what does that mean?
Like I told you,
Entrepreneurs. Is that what you're saying? The government?
earlier. The government.
So you want the government to get bigger. What in the last 25 years with the Obama administration, the Bush administration, Trump won, Biden won, leads you to believe that the
That's
government
where
understands?
It comes down
So
to
you-
the moral obligation.
So you
of
believe
it
in an
all.
institution that has failed for the last 25 years to now get it right in year 26.
I don't believe in the institution now.
but that's what you're
I
saying.
believe that if we don't start taking steps, it doesn't matter.
we?
Left or right, the human species.
Who's the human species?
Everyone.
America? China? There's a lot of people.
America first, baby. America
It
first.
doesn't make any sense when you say America
The
first with everything
idea
else you've said.
of being able to live free
Is everybody an
without
American?
being tread on. If you, as soon as you come onto this soil and you say "God bless America" and recite the Pledge of
What if I
Allegiance,
told you the majority
you're
of people that come into this soil illegally don't say that? They don't say God bless America. They say fuck you.
So why would they come here?
Because they want economic opportunities. Because we give them money.
I thought there was no economic opportunity.
We give them it.
Who gives them it?
The government. At the detriment of you and I. Tivon, they take my money and they give it to illegal immigrants. I'll let you in on a little secret.
Carlos people never got a
I'll
check.
let you in on a little secret.
Carlos people never got a check.
I'll let
What
you
are
in on a
talking
little
about?
secret, Tivon. If my government told me that they're going to take all of my tax dollars that I paid this year, I paid like $89,000 in just tax, okay? And they told me that we're going to put all of this money in inner city black kids. You want to know what I'd say? Dope. Dope. Sounds good. Make sure it's in St. Louis so that I can at least benefit from it. You want to know what they are doing with that tax dollars, Tivon? Bombing poor brown people halfway across the world, doing soft power in Eurasian Peninsula, doing all this other dumb shit. And then when I hear you, an American citizen, tell me that we can take unfettered immigrants and that we should let the government handle this, I question your sanity. I
Well,
question it.
You question it because again, you're going off the past
Forgive me.
pretense. No.
I'm passionate about this. I love this country.
You're remembering the past pretense of what the government has done. Like
it's the current, including this administration.
This as me as
Doge failed.
As a black man, should I just say every cop is a bad cop? Should I just say, oh,
what if the cop is black?
Hey, oh man, black cops are worse. You never heard that? You never heard it? You never heard that song? Black cop is the worst.
It's my white privilege.
Showing out. You know that young brother who was beat to death by 5 black cops.
Which one? Recently?
What's his goddamn name? I gotta look it up. But trust me, can you look up the 5 black cops that beat that guy to death? Anyway, I digress. It's the police system as a whole. Does that mean that we scrap the police system?
Tivon.
There's a lot of corruption inside of the judicial system. Do we get rid of law? That's my point.
Tivon, with respect, the entirety of this conversation after we got off the fighting has been a constant you moving of the goalpost. We've talked about many topics, many individuals from Elon Musk, then insert your billionaire of choice here. We've talked about race. We talked about religion. We talked about all these other things. We talked about illegal immigration, legal immigrants. And then when I present to you like this, I'm trying to isolate this argument or this conversation to a single variable. You constantly move the variable.
Well, you kind of offer me an ultimatum in those, though.
Because what I'm trying to do...
And you can't do that. That's what I'm saying.
I believe I can do that.
You can give me an ultimatum.
You gave me ultimatums today. Remember when we were talking about... Yeah, remember when we were talking about prejudice with like the person walking down the street? You gave me an ultimatum. Well, you said, would you be prejudiced to them? And what did I say? Was it a yes or no answer? I said yes. I gave you my answer. Now, we can articulate whether my answer was right or wrong, moral or immoral, but I gave you my answer. This is the problem with some of the, forgive me when I say this, the problem with most liberals when I'm having conversations with them is not that they can isolate, and CJ did this, and Montrell did this, and even Steve Berger, who's like an old white guy, but very liberal, like, and by the way, Steve Berger is probably more liberal than all of you combined, right? So it's not a race thing. It's more of like an individual thing. Whenever I come to conclusions with them, it always moves the goalpost. But what about this, Ariane? But what about that? I am more than happy if you give me ultimatums. If you corner me into a subject, I'm more than happy to give you my answer on that, even if it's removing of context.
Okay, hear me out on this.
Forgive me.
How is comparing the police department and their wrongs and the government and their wrongs moving the goalposts? Aren't they one and the same?
Because the government affects all of us.
So does the law.
Not in the same way because of
the law is kicking the illegals
because
out.
Of local and municipal law enforcement. It's different. If the federal government comes in, I'll give you a prime example. The Big Beautiful Bill. That affects all of us. Okay? If the federal government says that marijuana is illegal, but then a state comes in and says, no, we have medical marijuana in
you can still get charged federally.
Or, yeah, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't hold up in court because you then get charged at the state level. No FBI agent is coming in to get Tivon Taylor for $4,000. Tivon, this is where you're going to lose me.
I can show you a video of somebody getting their shit raided, though.
Maybe one.
It's illegal.
There's
a couple.
Maybe one.
That's what I mean.
But the minority of the cases, and then I would argue that like this is like a state versus federal government issue.
Yeah.
But to go back to our original conversation about how is the legal, law enforcement. Yeah, dude, move your thing. Lift it up. Yeah. Your original inquiry was like, how is law enforcement different from the federal government? When I'm saying the federal government is like, that's it. That's the end game. Mm-hmm. The federal government, past the federal government, unless you're talking about the Supreme Court, that's it. Like if the city of St. Louis convicts you of some crime, you can appeal it, right? You can go to the state of Missouri. And then if they don't give you the outcome that you want, you can appeal that to the federal court. Yeah. And if you don't like that, you can go to the Supreme Court. And then after the Supreme Court, that's it. What I'm saying to you is the federal government is it. That's it. Now, let me give you this back because everything that we discussed today needs to be understood that it's in context. If this was 25 years ago, when we were sub $1 trillion in debt, I would be willing to have some of the conversation that you had. And this is the problem with liberals, because liberals, and there's, don't get me wrong, there are plethora of problems with conservatives. The ideology of Trump is not healthy. The conservative movement as a whole is in a lot of ways that I don't agree with. I also don't agree with our the trade deal that we just made with China. There's a lot of things I don't agree with conservatives on. The problem is whenever I corner conservatives on this, you know what they say to me? Damn, Ariane, you got a point. Whenever I corner a liberal, ever, on any topic, ever, it's always, but what about?
Sounds like you're being prejudiced.
100%. 100%.
Hey, bro, don't put me in a box, brother.
Forgive me. I shouldn't do that. You're
What is the definition to conserve? What is the definition to liberate? If you are a liberate soul, if you will never be able to be confined by the conservative nature of humanity. You would like to conserve how things are. I would like to conserve the American ideology. I want to conserve the idea that immigration should be documented and that all these people should come in and that these 22 million people should have came in the right way so that they can come in and still work these jobs illegally. Or not illegally, but still work these low-wage jobs.
No, you were right. You were right on the first one, Tivon.
Willing to pay them for.
You were right on the first one, brother. Illegally.
You know what I mean?
We have laws.
No. Yeah. But even if they did come in legally, what else are they going to do when they get here?
If you were to ask me,
legally or illegally?
If you were to ask me, should we uphold and hold accountable these employers more for hiring these illegal immigrants? I would agree with you.
Yeah.
I would agree with you. I don't blame illegals for
coming. Do you
coming.
think we should tax everyone 10% across the board? That was my other list of
No,
things.
because consumption, you wouldn't want that on theory. Like in theory,
you wouldn't want everyone to pay 10% all the way from Trump, all the way from
because they
Elon,
pay more.
from me,
They pay more.
you. Yeah, they'd pay more.
Consumptive capability. You want a tiered tax structure. You shouldn't be angry at the tiered tax structure. What you should be angry at is the loopholes.
Yeah.
Like people think that they want a flat 10% tax. I'm telling you right now, if you introduce a flat 10% tax, every billionaire would jizz their pants. Every billionaire. Because you would be then taxed more by percentage than them. Because they'll still have some of the loopholes. You need to articulate the tax code. There should be a tiered structure. I'll give you an example. I don't believe, like, if you
I
had...
think it should be like the church, 10%. Give you 10%.
Well, I believe...
We want to look at your fucking books, and we want 10% of that. And you know what? We just made some more jobs in the IRS instead of laying off a bunch of people in the IRS.
How do you think how do you think you'd respond to this? What do I think, right? I think if you make sub the living wage, you don't get taxed. So what's the median income in America for poverty? What was it, like $80,000? If you make less than $80,000 as a household, zero tax. And then after that, every dollar you make gets taxed at the tiered structure. Because consumptive capabilities are irrespective of your earning potential. So like Elon Musk will not consume more than, like, let's say $2 million a year. So what, you want to get $200,000 off of him? Does $200,000 off Elon Musk make sense? No. 200 billion might make sense, right?
So why does he only have, because of what?
Because
loopholes?
I'll tell you why.
Why would he only have?
Democrats.
If you asked her 10%.
Tivon, I'll tell you why. Democrats. Under the Obama administration, who was the one that passed the corporate income tax at the highest income tax level for bonuses and stuff like that? Democrats. And then what happened? Then CEOs, so what happened was Democrats came in and said, hey, it's not fair that Tivon, the CEO of this company, I'm telling you history.
But Trump's not bailing out major corporations.
He's doing it under a different pretense. They both did it.
See, that's what confuses me.
No, I'll tell you why. Let me.
Trump's is actually being shown to have a negative impact.
Let me extrapolate. Both of them had negative impacts. So Obama came in and said the corporate income tax on bonuses should be equivalent to corporate income tax because it's income. Okay, cool. Now, whenever you or I get an income, like a bonus at the end of the month, we get taxed at 48% corporate income tax rate. You want to know what happens to everybody with options? They get bonuses not in cash, but in stock options
through the company.
Yeah. They get options.
I think my mom told me something about that.
They get options.
Stock options through zero.
Yes, and then what do? They sell those options. And what's the effective tax rate on corporate gains? 18% if it's an options trade. So your mom, who might get stock instead of cash for their bonus, now gets taxed at 18%. Meanwhile, if you or I get a bonus in cash, we get that taxed at 48%. Meaning if your boss says, hey, Tivon, you did a great job. Here's $10,000 as your Christmas bonus. $4.8 thousand goes to the federal government. Meanwhile, if I'm Elon Musk, the person that you think
okay, so, and that's where you lost me.
Okay.
Why am I sending $4,000 out of the $10,000 to the U.S. government if the
because
tax is 10%?
No, it's 48%.
Why is it 48%?
Because that's what Democrats have voted on during the Obama administration.
But why would it be bad if it was 10% across the board?
On bonuses?
On anything, on everything.
I'll tell you why.
Because again, I don't like Democrats either.
Because the 18%,
the
18% on Elon Musk and his stock options would be more than a 10%. That's why.
Why?
Because percentages precipitate numerical values.
Okay, so It would be impossible for me to say, this is literally me asking you a question.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
trying
go
to
ahead,
make
go
a point
ahead.
here. It would be impossible for me to say, and let me finish all the way through the
Yeah,
point. Hire a certain amount of people back to the IRS because, again, they just fired a bunch of people who are going around looking at everyone's books, constantly looking at everyone's books.
Tivon.
That is your job, to catch tax evaders, audit people, and
Tivon,
everything
do you think
like
that what is the percentage of people that when they file their taxes only have a W-2? Can you Google that, Adam?
Yeah. And with that being said,
What is the percentage of people that when they file their taxes strictly have a W-2 for their income exclusively?
if you're filing your taxes enough to get a return, if you're filing your taxes enough to get a return, right, tax return, and you're taxed 10% on that, what would be the issue with doing that for everyone across the board? Elon Musk, Bill
I'll
Gates,
give you an example.
all those people.
I'll give you an example.
Jeff Bezos.
I'll give you an
What
example.
did you get paid that Dana White got paid $50
No,
million
I'll give you an
a year?
example. I'll give you an
10%
example.
of
of
that
one.
50
Let's say
million.
you're doing a startup, and in your first year you invested $1 million with nothing in revenue. How do you do that?
Invest $1 million
In a business, yeah.
with nothing in revenue. Where did you get the $1 million?
From other things that you'll get taxed on.
Like what?
Income. Let's say you work a job.
So you start a business with
Let's say you make $1 million.
$1
Yeah, let's say you make $1 million a year from your job. Let's say you're like a C-suite, okay? And you take that money and then you start a business. And in your first year of business, you haven't generated a dollar of income, but you have a lot of expenses. What do you say to someone like that? Still tax me at 10%?
Yeah.
What about the economic
That's
opportunities
the
that
problem
I'm
again.
creating?
That's the problem again. Are you creating economic opportunities
hiring
by
people.
not being successful? And
Well, it's in the first year.
and also, are you showing the percent increase for you to be able to validate the existence of your company?
Percent increase, what does that mean?
So you're making money, I'd assume, at this company, right?
No. First year, all losses. No revenue.
Oh, then you're under.
Okay. What do you do then?
I'm failing to see your point with that. That's
I'll
what I'm
explain.
saying.
I'll
That's
explain
what
my
I'm
point. When I file my taxes, okay, as an individual, I have W-2s, I have 1099s because I consult.
How much money did they make that year?
What my business is?
No, the one that
I
failed. No, not
70 to 80%.
70. Okay, let me kind of
Go ahead.
And by the way, this is where we're gonna end because we're about to hit 4 hours.
Oh my God, you're good.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
I love this. This is why 70-80% of the people that when they file their taxes are pretty much done already because they're doing W-2s. Their taxes have already been taken out. At the end of the year, they might have overpaid because they're taking into consideration whether or not they're married, sole proprietors, what have you. And they might get like a small return, or they might owe a little bit if they put a 0 instead of a 1 in their taxes. 70 to 80% of Americans do that. The 20% or the 30% of Americans are like me, where we push to October because I have business 1, I have business 2, I have job 1, I have consultancy 1, I have this other non-for-profit that I might have that does good for my community around the office or around my community. And if I'm spending $20,000 there, yeah, fuck you, don't tax me on my other money because I took $20,000 of my dollars and may have given it to like an inner city black kid to get his education through a scholarship. I want that tax benefit. So that's why like a consumption flat tax doesn't make sense. Now, on the same precipice as that flat tax doesn't make sense, I would also lend you credence in saying our current tax strategy doesn't make sense. I think both are very
'cause
solid statements.
Some people paying 0 in taxes,
But what
billionaires.
they're not paying 0 in taxes. I'll tell you what they're doing. What they're doing is they're showing losses through LLCs that are created or S corps or C corps that they created that year. They'll pump a bunch of money into it, show losses to then offset their losses on this company. But the reason we have to accentuate and accept that is because there's actual entrepreneurs like me who start a company and might lose money on my first year. But I do hire people and I do give people money. And I want those tax benefits.
Technically, I'm a business and I can write off food and shit.
You should, if you don't have
I
Tivon
get taxed
Taylor
nothing.
LLC for your fighting, and then if you don't expense,
You know why I don't have an LLC? It's
Why not?
$1,500 fucking bucks to open one. To like
you kidding me?
$500 to get one. I was
Tivon,
pissed.
I love you. It's $50 in the state of Missouri, and it'll take me 5
You
minutes.
find me. You hook me up. I got 50 right now for you. Hook me up.
I don't want your 50. Just pay the state 50.
I'll give them my money
Before
right
you
now.
leave today, I can do your LLC.
I tried to set one up with a lawyer. That's probably why it was so expensive.
That's why it's expensive because they're going to oversell you. It takes $50, and the $50 isn't even this. It's your articles of origination in the state of Missouri, and the $50 is the fee that the state charges you. If you pay anything over $50 to set up an LLC, you're the retard. I'm telling you.
That's why I didn't do it.
I'm telling you, if financial literacy was more common, there'd be more conservatives. I'm telling you. Now, if you wanted to have the conversation about education and providing that financial literacy, I'm here for that conversation because I think that the public school system is a failure in its entirety. But that's not what we were talking about. What we were talking about was more grand.
It's a failure, but I think it's a necessary failure. I think everybody needs to go to school. I just
No,
think we need to
I'm
educate
saying
everybody-
financial literacy
everyone.
should be a part of school.
Yeah.
When you leave school, you should understand what an interest rate is. You should understand how to
Personal
do your
finance.
articles of origination. You should understand like basic shit. I'm not saying that you should be a tax accountant, but you should understand like you thought it cost $1,500 to set up an LLC. That's crazy.
I said 15 to 500.
Sorry, 15 to 500. Sorry, it's $50. $50. Anybody can do it in 3 minutes. Just have your LLC name and an address for your mail to be delivered
Does
to.
it have to be in Missouri? See, this stuff.
It does. The headquarters has to be in Missouri.
We'll talk about this off.
Yeah, we can talk about it off the record. Listen, we do need to listen. I love you.
I love you too.
I
baby.
want you to know that. And
Watch the
if
next
at any
fight.
moment-
It's going down.
Yeah, if at any
Blue
moment you
belt
felt like I
swag.
was disrespectful, I'm extremely sorry.
Brother, listen. The stuff we send to each other, I don't think we can be disrespectful.
I appreciate you immensely. I hope you know that. Seriously.